Hello and welcome to Spring Gothic. This is a visual novel about a long-distance relationship with a physical love can bloom in a fragmented society connected by corporatizing internet. So yeah, without further ado, we will start a new game. Nika's side. If there's one thing I value in life, it's the ability to curate my reality. New York's president hates people like me. Dems aren't much better, blaming us for their own incompetence. And online I keep getting empty platitudes from randos, who love to tell me how valid I am. Each of these things stings like a poison arrow, caused me to dread every morning for the past several months. Even those well-intentioned people don't understand that. So I just want them to disappear from my sight. That doesn't mean I want to stay holed up in my room forever, though. No, what I want is to change the way I see things. The world may be cruel, and I may not be able to do anything about it, but I can at least filter out the parts of it that upset me. Search instead for the beauty it can have, the kindness it can radiate. It's like punk music, how you can still find harmony deep within its harsh sounds. The guitar, drums, and vocals can all come together as one if you listen carefully. Even now, I believe there are spaces of hope and possibility in the world. I know they're out there, hidden just our sight. And I think I found one of them. Okay, not the city of London. It's no great capital decaying empire and all. Rather, it's someone who's living here. Someone important to me. Though I haven't met her yet. To tell the truth, I don't know for sure she actually exists. There's a part of me that keeps wondering if maybe I'm being trolled by someone with an AI. But I push those thoughts aside, choose to believe she'll be there for me. Her name is Chun. She sees me for who I am. A woman who keeps shifting the view of her contradictory, kaleidoscopic existence, looking for a better image. To my family, I'm a dutiful son. To the internet, I'm a retro VTuber. And in the ruby eyes of the girl who matters the most to me, an anxious trans woman craving to be loved. It's difficult juggling these additional roles, but the effort is worth it. When I'm a VTuber, I can stop being a son humouring his parents. Instead, I like to simply talk about the old games I never got to play, how much fun I'm having playing them now. But for as fun as it is, even with my avatar, streaming doesn't make me feel like a woman. And dependent on how people perceive me, and the depressing amount of my fans are thirsty for me. I'm just a sex object to them, not a person, much less a woman. It's corny, but I think Chun is the only one who sees me as a real human being, worthy of love. She knows things about me that no one else does, like the books I like to read, the music I listen to. I'll constantly worry about expressing my gender. She understands me. That's why I need her. She can complete my life. I don't care if I'm fooling myself. This is just my way of finding my place in this vast world. It's always good to have that one person who can actually understand you and actually genuinely care for you as a person, other than what society wants you to believe and whatnot. Especially with the culture surrounding the whole internet as a whole. Yeah, it's not great, especially when being quote-unquote celebrity status or influencer status or any kind of status like that. You always get the select few that end up having a parasocial relationship, and yeah, that's a whole topic for another time. lean into that rabbit hole. Anyway, she's kinda late though. It's been a few hot minutes since I arrived at the cemetery. What a place to meet. I checked my phone. Chilton hasn't sent any messages. It's like no one but the staff and elderly tourists here at the moment. Then I'll yawn and fiddle with the beads on my bracelet. My fingers. The overpriced coffee I brought at Paddington Station isn't helping at all. Thought I might get lost, but thankfully getting here wasn't too difficult for a tourist like me. Let's see. I took the Elizabeth line, transferred to the Northern line at Tottenham Court, went past a few more stops until Archway. From there, it was just a few minutes of walking in a straight line before passing a church and turning left into a park. My GPS said that the people going into the park were also coming here, so I decided to follow them. Tree branches rustled in the cold wind. Dry leaves crackled beneath my sneakers. Birds sang in the skies. Never travelled alone before, so I felt like I was entering a fantasy land by crossing this stone bridge. Then a joker bumped into me, bringing me back to reality. I turned around, they were already gone. All that remained were the echo of Katy Perry blaring from the airport. Guess Londoners don't say sorry or excuse me, huh? Just like in New York. After leaving the park, I just had to go through a small alley to reach my destination, Highgate Cemetery. The entrance is an imposing Victorian building with London Cemetery carved in the stone above the gate. Not really familiar with the cemetery, but I do know Karl Marx was buried here. I haven't read his books, but funnily enough I have read his poetry. They were the same kind of love poems I would have read in high school. It's funny to imagine this young revolutionary writing stuff like that. Sean had always wanted to visit this place. The classes had been taken up all her free time. But since she is getting out of medical school and transferring to a liberal arts university, she thinks she might not stay in London any longer. On Discord, she always complains about the high rents here. This was her last chance to visit the place. Besides, I think it could be an interesting place for a first date. That it definitely is. Definitely one to remember. Rub my hands together and breathe into them. Ugh, so cold. Looks like she still hasn't read my message. I know something. Sorry, I got lost. My phone ran out of data, and I didn't know where Hug-chan, or Chun, I should say. Been waiting for so long. Shut my eyes in embarrassment. Thought I was gonna keep my cool, but no, I can't. I feel hot tears swelling in my eyes, my hands shaking. I start a wet peck on my left cheek. I open my eyes again. I see Chun standing on her tiptoes with her face right next to mine. She grins. So have I. Let go of her, cheeks warm against the cold breeze. Then she takes my hand, sliding her fingers into mine, whispers into my ear. Let's make the best of it while we can. Aw, you guys are so cute together. Take a step forward and pulls me towards the west entrance. We're following a long, straight path, surrounded on both sides by dry Victorian gravestones and an abundance of vegetation. Rain last night, and the trees' dew-covered leaves seemed to sparkle, but they're overshadowed by the glue of the roots wrapping around everything. Rain makes me wish I had hiking boots or something. So muddy. I learned about this place through this museum guide, lady's channel on YouTube. Made a really interesting video about it. Shun turns to face me, walking backwards as she looks me in the eye. Try to avoid her gaze, landing on a grey coat and overgrown foliage, topped with a stone monument shaped like an urn. I still can't make eye contact without flinching, even with her. I'll have to get better at this if we're going to be dating for real. The recommendation I'll go must be pretty it must be getting pretty strange. Now that I have time for it, I'm exercising my freedom to watch whatever I want. I can even check out all those video essays people rave about on social media. Let out a small laugh. I wonder how people have time to watch 10-hour video essays summarizing things like childhood TV shows that nobody watched. Says the person who streams for a living. When I gain the courage to look at her again, she flashes a mischievous smile. But your streams still come first, of course. Turns back around and hops ahead. Meet Shun a few months ago, or a few months after starting to stream games on Twitch. Never expected my life to turn out like this. I remember preparing to apply to college again, dropping out years ago. It was nerve-wracking, but the idea of getting my life back on track also excited me. Then the pandemic happened. Suddenly I found myself stuck in my parents' house, with nothing to do but listen to their advice. They weren't very helpful. Usually they aren't. I often hear from them that I should say learn to code, because they'd heard somewhere that AI is on the rise. Oh god. No, don't go start to use AI. They're not programmers themselves here, so they couldn't offer me anything more concrete than take online classes or learn Python. Hell, I'm not sure they even know what AI is. And they sound like the type of parents who would fall for said AI too. One day I was surfing YouTube and came across a dog girl VTuber playing Doom 64. Never been one for watching others play games, but for some reason I decided to check her stream out. She was speaking Japanese, so I couldn't understand everything she was saying, but there were a lot of international viewers, so she'd sometimes also try saying a few things in English for their sake. Her reckless playstyle was really fun to watch, but what fascinated me the most was how much fun she seemed to be having, just when playing the game and talking to her fans. I typed my first message, Gunberry, after triple checking to make sure I wasn't wrong. Felt like maybe the promise of the internet had come true after all. And she actually replied to me with, "Thank you very much." It was then that I started thinking, I could do this. Sure, I did drop out of college because public speaking class made me ill. Honestly, same here. But I feel like I could get a grip on myself if I was just talking to a computer screen. Also, same here. And honestly, reading visual novels like this has definitely improved my speaking a huge amount, even though I still tend to stumble over my words and mispronounce everything. But at least with the power of editing, I can cut most of that out, so hell yeah. That's why I don't really live stream. That on top of living in a country town with shit internet. Met all the close friends I had online, through forums and IRC. Anyway, speaking of which, I'm already stumbling over my words already, yeah. No one watched my streams at first, but people like Chun gradually started tuning in. I found myself talking more and more. Without their encouragement, I don't think I ever would have realized I could be such a chatty person, with so many things to say. Honestly, again, same here. If you had to see me like 10 years ago, you would not know me 10 years ago. You could barely get a single word out of me, let alone an entire sentence, because my social anxiety was really bad back then, like severely bad. But anyway, moving on from that, I was bumping into Chun, who stopped all of a sudden. Oh, I remember this one from the video. Look at where we are on the map. We go after paying the entrance fee, find that we're standing before the tomb of General Sir Loftus Ottaway. Man, what a name. Unlike the other tombs, this one takes up a lot of real estate. A cursed slab shaped like a bow of a ship protrudes out of the rising ground. Coffins must have been buried inside the small mound. Huh. I'm wondering if this is an actual picture of it. I'm assuming so. But it's kinda cool that using real-life photographs of this actual place. Definitely brings the visual to life. Walk a bit uphill, and from there I can see the tomb's translucent skylights from above, along with the fence of railings shaped like cannons sawed in half. Do you know him? I don't think so. Take out my phone and look his name up on Wikipedia, as you usually do. Important general from the Napoleonic War, it seems. In the past you could go to the mausoleum and see who's buried there. People used to do that, like, as a tourism thing. I'd say that's a morbid, but we are in a tourist attraction. Shouldn't ask me to take a picture of her making a peace sign in front of the tomb. Didn't think she had the Instagram genes enough. Just please don't go destroying stuff or climbing onto things you shouldn't be climbing onto, please. Gotta respect the great graves and other historical places. Make our way uphill. Say, you never told me why you want to visit this place. Not just because of the YouTube video, is it? Ever heard of the Highgate Vampire? Of course you're into the whole supernatural side of YouTube. I mean, I definitely am, but anyway, I can't say I have. Instead of studying for my exams, I ended up reading about how the UK has its satanic panic before the US went wild with it. In fact, it's possible the whole thing originated in the UK, and was only later adapted by Americans into the panic we know and love today. And unfortunately still continuing today. And a lot of other horrible shit. Well, Highgate Cemetery is one of the cemeteries built in the Victorian era to help with overcrowded churches. Long story of that one. It fell into disrepair around the 60s or 70s, just in time for the counterculture movement at the time. Teens would hear stories about the creepy things like vampires were roaming at the cemetery, and they would break into the grounds to investigate on their own. What's also really interesting is that a couple of high-profile Wiccans tried to get the mainstream media's attention, caused a ruckus by arguing in public, with each claiming that they were the right person to exorcise the vampire. There was even an attempt to televise a literary showdown between the two. That would have been awesome. That sounds funny. Reach the entrance to what's labelled on the map as the Egyptian Avenue. Magnificent gateway that feels like it is leading into an ancient necropolis. It's framed on both sides by enormous stone columns, above by vines dangling from the surrounding trees. Rusty smell of the iron gate clashes with the scent of fresh rain, which I've always loved. Inside there's no roof, no branches, and leaves are swarmed in, hiding the names of the families whose loved ones are buried here. Rooms are closed with sturdy black doors. One thing that draws my attention are the keyholes, which are upside down. It's when I realize that everything here is symbolic, like the torches pointing down. Their orientation probably indicates they are meant to be used by those who have returned to the soil, since their point of gravity is reversed. I enjoy learning details like this. It reminds me that people in the past thought a lot about how to remember their loved ones. They were just as human as we are. Leave the building on the other side and reach what's called the Circular Lebanon. Each door leads to a family vault, and on the walls next to each are engraved words from grieving relatives. While reading these, whatever that was, I hear the sound of a camera shutter. On the source right away, sure, it was taken a landscape picture of me with her phone. You better have made me look good. Practicing photo composition. Try to smile but end up feeling so self-conscious that I can only manage a nod. I have no idea how to pose for photos. It feels like a skill you have to train, and I almost never get my picture taken. I definitely wouldn't be streaming if I couldn't hide behind an anime girl avatar. Try to regain my cool by saying something funny and interesting about myself. I like reading these sorts of things, like the stuff that's written on those sheets of paper that come with the trays in fast food places. They're really soothing to read. Or reading the back of like a bottle of detergent while you're sitting on the toilet. Done that one too many times. That's why I got my own toilet book, so I can at least read that while I'm taking a shit. Shona smiles. Maybe she found it cute. Let's go. I quickly finished reading the epitaph, that word, and run after Shun, who's already headed towards the exit. Suddenly something catches my eye. I grab Shun's hand before she scuttles away and point to one of the nearby vaults which is a marble block holding a steel can filled with flowers. The name Radcliffe Hall has been inscribed into the marble. I've heard of this person. Shun scratches her chin. I feel like I remember the name from the video, but not the specifics. She was a lesbian author. One novel she wrote would later pave wave with lesbian pulp fiction. Oh, that's right. First learned about Radcliffe Hall back in 6th grade. History teacher assigned us a 2-page report on a historical figure who shared our birthdays. When I looked at the date for mine, I found people like Aaron Schrödinger. His work sounded interesting, but it was too complicated for 6th grade to understand. I think my teacher didn't think very hard about that assignment. I assume my classmates also struggled. In the end, I decided to just look into writers, since I like books and all. One of the ones I discovered was Radcliffe Hall. The title of her most famous work, The Will of Loneliness, caught my attention with how evocative it was, so I looked more into it. I was still a sheltered boy at the time, so despite knowing lesbians existed, I never thought about them much. Well, at least I knew enough to tell there was something strange with how my mum would talk about Dad fixing her, even if I didn't know what she meant. That's why I was so surprised when I looked at a picture of Radcliffe and saw that she looked like a guy. I didn't know a woman could dress like that. Also, she preferred to be called John. That was wild to learn. I ended up researching a lot more than I needed to, and went from reading about cross-dressing to discovering live journal posts by trans people, a demographic I never learned about in school. I guess I never would have started HRT if I hadn't read about Radcliffe Hall for that assignment, huh? Yeah, surprising what you can learn from the internet when it's not a cesspool of people screaming slurs at each other. Anyway, these days I don't agree with her thoughts on sexuality, but I still appreciate how she was the first to make me think about gender. She might have... no, she definitely saved me from living my life in a body I didn't mind, and never would have realized I wanted more from. Teacher didn't like what I wrote, of course, but couldn't care less about the D she gave me for the assignment, much less what he had to say about regarding how boys should behave. I learned something very valuable that day. It's a lesson I kept close to my heart. Can you take a picture of me here? She is someone important to me. Shun smiles and we take a picture. We decide to take the picture while I'm standing in front of the plaque by her lover that reads, "And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death, Una." Hell yeah. Made a picture of me in Radcliffe Hall's tomb, my wallpaper on my iPhone. This was the best find I've ever made. Don't think I could have visited the graveyard if I was still with my parents. While I met Sean in London, my family dragged me around the United Kingdom. They were more concerned with showing people they'd visited Stonehenge than learning about the archaeological history or the people who may have erected it. It's really shallow stuff. So glad that my parents finally left the country so that I could walk around London with Sean for a few days without them bothering me. I was getting stressed out that I was so close to Sean, but I couldn't meet her just yet. So happily it finally happened. I can prove to my family that I don't need to be in an unhappy marriage like my cousins, or there's as long as I can be with Shun. I went to visit the eastern part of the cemetery, but Shun told me that we'd be late for the cat cafe. Okay, cat cafe is definitely more important. I'm happy enough that I don't care too much, even if I was pretty interested in seeing more of the cemetery. Bus ride to the cafe is nice and quiet, so Shun takes the opportunity to close her eyes and sleep on my shoulder. Touch her hands and notice a brief smile that immediately disappears. A few minutes we arrive at the Mighty Enchantress Felines and Kitty's Cafe. Sort of looks like a used bookshelf with a terrace windows. Oh my god, I just realised she got like a little kitty sweater on too. That's adorable. I want it. Shun runs off and sticks her face to the window, view blocked by foliage and props. But she spots a black kitty perched on a shelf near the ceiling. It must be Heathcliff. Oh, look at the kitty! Oh my god, he's so cute. Cafe is divided between the storefront and the actual cafe with the cats. Storefront is no different from any other specialty coffee shop. Walls are covered with chalkboards listing the frappuccinos the baristas can make, but we can order our food and drinks inside the cafe. After the clerk checks our reservation and asks us to wash our hands thoroughly, walk through a red door that opens into paradise. A massive fake tree stands in the center of the room. Branches are connected to rope bridges and that lead to small tree houses in the corners of the room. And that must be kitty heaven for the cats. Cat meows beside me. Look up and see a tabby cat looking down at me from one of the bridges, paw dangling in the air. Look back and see a group of people playing with cats in the corner as well. That'd probably be me if I was there. This is amazing. Yeah. Led to our table at the side of the room, near a portrait of a very brown cat on a wheelchair. As it should be. Name is Walpole, one of the first cats the shop ever took in. The plaque later said that he was adopted by a wealthy English family in 2019. Play leaves us the menus and we take ourselves comfortable, or make ourselves comfortable on the red sofa. Pick up the menu while Shun unzips her backpack to get out an lambic about the cats in the store that she brought online. Cats are all named after the Gothic writers and characters. Know you're into that stuff. I noticed. Cafe is named after Anne Radcliffe, right? Looks at me and adjusts her glasses before nodding in agreement. Menu is all vegan. Expect that. Cat cafes are usually set up by people who are animal rights activists, I think. Once read on visited one in Osaka that was just like that. Food is pretty good. It's my first time at a place like this. Wonder what fake meat tastes like. You tell me. Never eaten meat before. Only fish. I think I'll get a fake beef burger. Seems interesting. Can I read the book too? Exchange the menu and the almanac. I open the book and find the familiar names applied to cats of all stripes and furs. I flip through the pages to find the tabby cat that first caught my eye, and her name is Vernon, after the writer Vernon Lee, who was a lesbian contemporary of Oscar Wilde. Actually has a brother, a white cat named Wilde. That's cute. The diagram shows that she likes to be robbed on the belly and dislikes being robbed on the head. But I thought he was going to say she likes to be robbed on the belly, but also dislikes being robbed on the belly. That'd pretty much be every cat. They like it until they don't, and then your hand and arm gets clawed to shit. Look wild. Likes tail stroking, dislikes being robbed anywhere else. I see him playing with someone I guess who hung his favourite strip of metal on a toy fishing rod. Jumps for the object, but the bait flies up and his paws cannot force it down to the ground. Cute. He lands, his eyes follow the metal and his tail stands straight up. I've become a cat person after all. Shouldn't pass me on the shoulder. Welcome to the club. After ordering our food, beef burgers and cookie and cream milkshake, salmon and chips and mushroom tea. Never had mushroom tea before. Might need to try it. Go to a group of cats playing with themselves. She takes a stick with a feather on the end and starts to make the cats chase her bait. I like to watch her play with the cats. It's quite relaxing. Why don't you play with the cats? I don't know how. You could rub Lewis's back up there, toss your cat on the bench. I rub Lewis's head. I believe he is named after Matthew Lewis, who wrote The Monk. There's a bawdy look about, whatever that word is, monk, renowned for his chastity, who sins when he learns that his novice is a woman. Lewis's eyes narrow and close. Oh, you're a good kitty. When cats do that, it means they're relaxed. We look at each other at the same time, and I laugh. Have you read much of Gothic literature? I shouldn't, as I let Lewis brush his face into my fingers. Let's see. I had to read Jane Eyre. Yeah? At school. Hated it. Yeah, most kids always hate reading. How come? She talks about being in bondage and compares her situation to slavery in the US. But when she inherits the money, the wealth must be from the Caribbean slave trade. Also, don't like that what the book does with Bertha. People were so concerned about racial purity back then. So much studying of faces too. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't think I'd... yeah, that's another topic for another time. I don't like it either, but that's because I don't like most romances. And I thought Jane and Rochester's relationship was strange. I also read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Boring. I think that's about it. Do you have any recommendations? Oh, do you have the time? I don't think a few seconds. I know that I shouldn't like science fantasy work, so maybe... I think the Mask of Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe might be fun. It's about rich people protecting themselves from a pandemic. Seems relevant. Go on. It's a short story, so it won't spoil the ending, but there's a guy whose face and clothes are dyed red. There are striking images. It gets kind of science fiction-y at the end, like a Twilight Zone episode, only in Victorian language. Really like that from Poe's work. Give it a shot when we go to your hotel. Sean then winks at me, and my heart skips a beat. But you know, I feel like I should like Gothic fiction more. I love horror movies. The thing kicks ass. Psychological horror is fun, but I think English class took all the fun out of reading books to me. Yeah, as most classes do. I get it. I read the books I really like outside of class. Do you want to read stuff like Camilla? Have you read that? Yeah, it was interesting. Homophobic, but it was kind of accurate about lesbian desire, I think. Empire has a tragic end, but the narrator still longs for her. That's why I'm not too interested in recent revivals. I mean, like those TV shows that are led by queer creators? I think what makes the story work is the homophobia. Ryder was concerned about the well-being of a woman, so he thought deeply how lesbian desire might work. If you take that out, you'd lose what's at stake in the story. It's identity, I guess. It's a lecture that argues for its relevance, but I guess I don't like retellings that gloss over the bad stuff in the story, just so we can feel more comfortable liking that stuff. It just feels like they're trying to make something new, but without the need to make a new IP. As does with a lot of remakes nowadays. I think you can bring that up on Twitch. Fans would roast you for that. Well, I want to stream some visual novels when I get back. I have a backlog of Ebby Hymns tales to go through. I need to get to Long Live the Queen, since there's going to be a new work in the same setting. Don't think I'll get a chance to mention it. I see what you're doing there. Namely ones like Strawberry Vinegar that I just recently did, which was a very cute game. And going all the way back to like The Way We All Go, which I played a while back, which was a really good one, as well as Winter's Dream, and also It Gets So Lonely Here. And there's plenty more that I want to play of in the future at some point, so nice that they give a little shout out to Abby here, because yeah, they've made some excellent visual novels. There's some things I can't just share with the public. Can't talk about my family, my gender concerns, and other private things with fans who come to see me play their favourite RPGs and visual novels. And it's probably best that you keep it that way, because otherwise, yeah, people tend to think that you owe it to them to tell them about every little detail, and they're not entitled to that shit, so. It irritates me when they think they know me too. Just an entertainer, not their best friend. Some of the blame is on me. I don't know how to navigate parasocial relationships without hurting my income. So I don't really have anyone to talk to except for Shun. She knows how to listen. Well, she doesn't know how to solve every problem I have. Appreciate that she lets me vent about my family and fans without judgment. Makes me feel like I'm someone who matters to the world. Our food arrives at the table. Wow, it's really delicious. Shun salmon doesn't taste like the real thing, but it's just as good. Shun tells me that I should be vegan with her. I have to tell her that's too expensive for me right now. One, my family also wouldn't like me becoming vegan. That's liberal hogwash according to them. Oh god. Also, that's why I'm not surprised. Annoyed, Shun tells me that when she moves in with me, she'll cook for me. Wow, life with her. She'll chop the onions, I'll chop the asparagus. A dream come true. 2 hours we had reserved went by quickly. We took lots of pictures of each other with the cats. Besides the cemetery, this might be the most fun I've ever had. I was a little sad to lead the cats to their playground. I know I'm going to remember this day for a long time. So excited to hang out with Shun even more. It's getting late, so we take the tube to my hotel in Paddington. When the train arrives, we sit on a bench holding hands. You want a kiss? Shun whispers into my ear. Glass around and see there aren't that many people around us. My heart is beating. I think she wants to kiss me on the lips. I used to imagine us kissing in a secluded park under a full moon. I would dream about it while taking a bath. Such a cliche, but I'm just a romantic. The train station is very different from a park, but I think it's a nice place for a memory like this. Shun and I face each other and we begin to kiss. Close my eyes and try to remember as much as possible. I hear the dash of the subway, hair flutters in the wind. Tongue feels something strange. I open my eyes and see Shun concentrating, and the windows of the train flickering in front of me. Somebody screeches to a halt. Shun lets go of my mouth and drags my hand to the train. It takes me a few minutes to realize that she deep kissed me. And I felt weird about it. I guess she must be into a little tongue action. I open the doors to lead Shun in. She flings her backpack to the side and leaps into the bed. Gosh, I wish my bed was as comfy as this. You wanna watch a movie? I know, I'm trying to forget that our first kiss was not like what I imagined. Shun disables the TV's hotel mode and connects her laptop to the TV with a HDMI cable. Opens up a notepad file containing a list we compiled of movies to watch together for the year. Let's see, we just finished watching Phase 4. I think we're getting to letters from the Big Man. I get onto our bed and making sure I'm a bit far from Shun. Turn off the lights and watch the movie. Glad that she doesn't try to hold my hand or anything like that. I'm still upset about it, but I don't want to show that to Shun. She didn't do anything wrong. I just had the wrong expectations. Shake my head and try to concentrate on the movie as the opening credits roll. What's the movie about again? Bigfoot. People say it's like the best Bigfoot movie ever. Movie we usually watch are slow, atmospheric movies with a lot of dread, like Stalker by what? Yeah, that name. I can pronounce it in my head, just getting my mouth to say it is a completely different story. So I thought maybe this movie was going to be similar. One ranger is surveying the waters in Origin, and nothing is really happening. But when Bigfoot finally appears on screen, he's just there, grinning. Not portrayed as a monster, but rather as a wise being connected to nature. The story is about this ranger who has developed a spiritual connection with the Big One, while everyone else hunting for Bigfoot is doing it for the CIA, money or publicity. Watch her develop a relationship with him, but it also never turns romantic, more like a friend from the shadows. There are many shots of the protagonist cutting wood, cooking food, and just trekking in the wild. Bigfoot, on the other hand, leaves signs that can be decoded into letters. Praises her love for nature. A strange movie. It wasn't scary or dramatic, but I really liked it. I don't know what Shun thinks, but I connected with the protagonist and her love for solitude. She rejects a possible romantic fling for the sake of nature, understanding Bigfoot and beyond. At the credits roll, I feel stunned. I think this might be one of my favorite movies of all time because it's so different from anything else I've ever seen. I can't see Shun in the dark, but she seems like she's contemplating something. You think the director believes in Bigfoot? Definitely. Turn off the TV and say goodnight to each other. I'm sleeping on my side and I think Shun is facing my back. I try to sleep, but I can't get my mind off how Shun kissed me at the station. Probably a mistake. She's just being too earnest and forward. I can tell her to calm down a bit. Take things slow. Romance first, sexual stuff later. Then suddenly she puts her hand on my hip. Fingers are sliding down. Sorry, not now. A pause. Okay. Her turn to turn her body away from me. We used to send nudes to each other and masturbate on video cat, but I would have thought we'd spend a little more time learning about each other before actually having sex. I feel like I'm sleeping with a stranger. Didn't know she was this eager. Does she see me as a sex object? No, this is Shun we're talking about. She's a nice girl who is always there for me. But I'm terrified. Is she going to do this again? What if I fall asleep and she tries something weird? Don't know how to stop thinking about it now. I can't sleep. They didn't sleep a wink. They exited sprawling St. Pancras station without a word to each other. She walks ahead, making sure I'm following behind. I wanted something noisy in my headphones to block out the busy noise of the street. Coach whips sounds about right. At least the vegan sausage roll that Shun brought for me at Greg's tastes good. Before we meet in London, I said to Shun that I wanted to visit some unique bookstores. I really don't go for reading much, but they have watched the movies of the books written by that one transphobe. Guess that's something. Never got the chance to check out London's famous bookstores. John told me when we were on Discord that she knows a few radical bookstores, including one that just sells queer stuff, but interested in that one specifically. I was afraid of entering a queer bookstore in the US because of my family. I'd be really disappointed if they knew they had a closeted adult living in the house. I've been looking forward to visiting it, but not going to lie, my excitement has been tapered a lot. I'm exhausted from not sleeping at all. Shun didn't do anything to me, but I just couldn't stop worrying the whole night. She's a sweet girl, but doubt is creeping up on me. I feel like I can't guess what she might be thinking. Okay, I know part of the problem is me. Didn't set boundaries like I would with my fans, but still, she should know better. Suddenly realized I've been spacing out for too long. Shouldn't cross the street before the pedestrian light turned red. Waiting for me, tapping her feet to indicate her impatience. Looked down the asphalt road, wondering what to think of her. Is she really the same Chun? The same Chun who first wrote in my DMs thanking me for streaming visual novels, even though no one but her was watching me? Same Chun who cared about my life and hobbies? Same Chun who walked around virtual worlds with me on VR chat, so much she enjoyed our time together? She was the first person on the internet who saw me as a person, not a content creator. I found myself brightening up whenever she appeared on chat. I couldn't stop thinking about her and looking forward to the next chat with her. But I was also afraid that she might not be into me. She's a lesbian and I haven't got top surgery yet. I didn't know if she would find me attractive and up to date, especially when all I do is masculine stuff like playing games. Just don't see myself as feminine enough to date her. One day that all changed. I started typing hug to each other after a bad day. I started bickering with my family about how much they love AI again. They said I should embrace it and I'm just gonna be left behind for hating it. Shouldn't ask their plans to quit med school to her parents. That didn't go well either. Wasn't really the best time for romance, but I felt like I wanted more of her. We started to flirt with each other, laugh at each other's jokes, and imagine what it'd be like to visit each other. Then I gained the courage to ask her the question. Would she be interested in dating me if I was more of a woman? Told me, I really like you. You're a woman in my eyes. It was a magical day. I couldn't believe it. We really were dating. I hear the pedestrian light turn green. Cross the street and catch up with Shun, who turns around without waiting for me. Did I break her trust? Did I mess up somewhere? But here, after a few minutes of brisk walking, we're in front of a white bookstore. Shun points to the entrance with a thumb, and my eyes are drawn to people with makeup, tattoos, strange hairstyles, and earrings entering the store. Follow them into the store before Shun can say anything. Red carpet with orange dots covers the whole room. Bookshelves of lesbian and gay fiction overwhelm my peripheral vision. Trans and non-binary people flip through young adult and horror books. Black and white photos of people marching in pride parades and posters of sexual revolution through perversion and plastered all over the world. I feel like I've just walked into a new home. I studied shelves and learned about new books that I've never seen in local Barnes and Nobles, because they don't stock gay, lesbian, and trans books like that, or they put it in some dingy corner. On one shelf there's a book about trans people and sexuality that explain these topics to young adults and parents who want to understand. These works would have helped me understand myself when I was younger. On another are several notable trans body horror books written by names that sound familiar to me. Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin, Brainworms by Alison Romfit. Pick up the latter and flip through a few pages. Writing grabs me, it's biting, dark, and quite funny. Look at the back cover, then the front. There's nothing like it in the US. Want to buy this book. Push my way through the crowd around the gay BDSM section and check out the non-fiction section. There are books on LGBTQ history, neurodiversity, anarchism, and communist theory. Cover of Empire Normalcy caught my eye, so I picked it up and read the preface. Author wrote a moving preface about how they wanted to analyze neurodiversity through a Marxist lens while living in poverty. Read a few more pages and while the theory is dense, I begin to understand what they're trying to say about how normality is invented to make capitalism work. Want to buy this too. Want to buy every book I've seen. I know I could buy these books online, but finding them in a bookstore like this feels different. I don't know why. I just feel welcome, knowing I can blend in with the crowd and buy books that might look out of place in other bookstores. I take 10 books to the counter and the cashier smiles as they insert a bookmark with the bookstore's logo into the books. What books are you getting? She's queuing behind me. Looks like she's just getting one book. Deligren by Samuel Delaney. Reads off the titles on the spine and nods. I never took you as someone interested in romance fiction. I don't want to give away that I'm still nervous around her, so watch the cashier check if the books are in good condition and type the price into their phone for a bit. I'm getting back to myself. The bookstore kinda helped me think about something else entirely. Books let me escape from reality, give me something else to focus on. Guess that's why I really like reading books. Take a look at the books I'm buying again. Me neither, but the covers look cute and the writing is easy to read. Having trans lesbians is a plus for me. But that sounds like I'm having a normal time. Hit my card and grab the brown bag with my books and wait for Shun outside. Comes out of the store a few minutes later. Shun isn't carrying anything, so I think she's put her book into her backpack. Do you want to put some of your books in my backpack? I shake my head. I don't really want to burden her with my purchases. Honestly, I brought too much. But I was just too excited to find a bookstore like this. It's really my fault. She shouldn't have to deal with it. We'll be carrying a lot wherever we go. It's okay. I don't mind carrying so many books right now. This bookstore really cheered me up. Before I leave, I take a quick look at the events calendar on the front door. Imagine what it might be like to attend and hear authors talk about why they write horror fiction with trans characters. Must be some wonderful conversations about the meaning of horror and fiction. Wish I stayed in London for just a bit longer to hear what they have to say. I need to another bookstore that I shouldn't really recommend it. I don't think I'll buy more books, but I'm still interested in what the other bookstore is like. I'm jealous that Shun can go to all these bookstores in the UK. Meanwhile, I live in a gated neighbourhood with no easy access to public transportation. I need to ask my parents to drive me somewhere all the time. Yeah, I kinda get that feeling too, living out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere with... Like, unless you have, like, a driver's license and a car, you can't really go anywhere. If I was in any of the city, if I was in the city or the obvious adjacent suburbs, yeah, I could easily get around because they actually had the public transport and whatnot, but How do you... Yeah, that's silage. Thought of returning to the US in a few days made me sad. Even though I know the UK is called Turf Island for a reason. I feel terrible thinking about what's happening in the country right now. I haven't read the news or checked Discord for the latest developments. Just want to be a woman for a few days before I have to go back to my parents' house and listen to them debate about police pronouns having kindergarten. Next bookstore we visit is quite far from the last one. Tables and books sold on the cheap are set up outside. Last windows are covered with posters about the Palestine marches and calling the Labour Party to account for its failure to implement progressive reform. Bookstore is larger with shelves dedicated to major political movement issues, a basement for fiction and older books. Pick up one of the best sellers in the history of this bookstore. Describes how it used to be a space for gay liberation movements and feminist cool centers while maintaining a pacifist newspaper. I'm just gonna chill and browse books. Many people seem to come here just to read anyway. Subjects are obscure to me, but they all have interesting titles and covers. Sit down to read Francis Ryan's Crippled, Austerity and Demonization of Disabled People. Surprised at how much good wheelchairs cost, now being subsidized by insurance in the UK. Don't really know what it's like to be disabled in the US. Don't feel like I know enough, and that's a problem. And, oh god, yeah, being in the US would be so much more worse, especially when it comes to having to pay out of pocket for stuff like that. Sheldon, on the other hand, is walking around the bookstore non-stop. He seems to be interested in the shelf labelled feminism. Don't know much about politics, and I'm surprised to see her picking up books left and right to read. Won't know where to begin. After a few minutes of browsing, she hurries to my side and shares the books with me. I think I'm picking up Abolishing the Family by Sophie Lewis and maybe Family Abolition by Emmy O'Brien. So these have been on my mind for a while. They seem interesting. Eyes widen. Right? Went to this bookstore before to buy another book. It was about Gothic Marxism and horror movies, and I really liked it, so I wanted to buy another book. The bookstore is very comfortable for me. Sheldon grins and starts reading the Lewis book. Watch her read. She's always complaining about how much reading she has to do during med school, so I've never thought of her as someone who likes to read. Someone who likes to watch movies. But I'm wrong. This is another side of Sheldon I've never seen before. The way she reads the book, she seems like she has forgotten that I'm even here. Wonder what she's thinking. Wonder what she does besides going to school, talking to me online. And now that I think about it, she never told me much about her life. I remember her saying that she and her family fled Hong Kong after 2019. I didn't know what she meant. Thought I knew everything about her, but I don't. I don't know much about her childhood, what her family is like, how she thinks, and what she does offline. All I know is that she wants to get out of med school and be a film critic or something like that. Like I know her spirits and aspirations, and that's it. A girl whose dreams I know, but not her life. Feels stupid for not realizing that I don't really know her. Of course our relationship is going to be rocky. Why should I think it's going to be smooth sailing? I know how relationships are supposed to go. All I know is that I'm probably sending mixed signals. I want more of something, but I want less of everything else. Don't know what that something is either. It's just complicated. Thought all I had to do was just to meet her in London and start a wonderful life together. But instead I'm realizing I've never really told her what I want from our relationship. might have been misunderstanding me for all our time together. That's so weird. Thought she would understand what we should be doing more than I do. So what should I do now? Now here's a good question. Something that these two obviously need to sit down and have a talk about, because yeah, gotta do that a lot in relationships. It's definitely not all smooth sailing and all sunshine and rainbows. Rain cut our trip short. There were supposed to be more bookstores to visit, but that's fine. We were carrying a lot of books, and I think any more would kill our arms and wallets. At the Curry Katsu meal in Paddington, we returned to my hotel room and unpack our bags. Shun takes out a Steam Deck to play a street racing game she was talking about on the tube. Look at the time and think that maybe I should fit in my HRT in the meantime. Take syringes and a box of alcohol prep pads out of my luggage, hidden under all the clothes and jackets. What you doing? Shun looks over her deck. Probably never seen this in action before. Can you grab the ziplock in my purse for me? Shun takes a second and then promptly puts her deck on the table. Grabs my purse hanging on the chair and rummages through it and finds the ziplock. It has aspirin, a box of band-aids, and estradiol. Vials. I don't really take aspirin. It's just to make sure the TSA checkpoints are more bearable, not raise suspicions with my family. Thank her and get ready to go to the bathroom to wash my hands. Hey, can I help you? I did go to med school for a year. Look at her and she is watching my eyes like a puppy waiting for a frisbee to be thrown. Knees on the bed, she shuffles closer to me, biting her lip. Not sure why I found her so scary last night when she's like a baby right now. Well, this could be fun. Why not get her involved? I'd appreciate the help. After we wash our hands, Shun asks for my dosage, 0.15 mils. Takes the cap off the syringe and pulls air into the dosage amount. Sit on the edge of the bed and clean my left thigh with the infectant swab while I watch Shun insert the needle into the vial and squeeze the air into the bottle. You know your stuff. I dropped out because it was boring, not because I didn't understand my classes. Shun turns the syringe and vial upside down, looks closely to make sure the needle is in the stuff. Pulls out the syringe, extracting more liquid than she needs. After tapping the syringe for any air bubbles, she pushes the excess E back into the vial. Pulls out the needle, replaces the used one with the smaller injection one, and looks at my outer thigh. I blush. I forgot she'd be so close to my legs, but it's fine. I just show her where to put the needle. Checks the spot and nods at me. Like your legs, we're all over in no time. I smile weakly. I don't think I've had anyone help me before, so hearing someone say that kind of hits different. Shun slowly inserts the needle into my skin. Crap, it still stings, and well, whatever. Shun pulls the needle a little to check for blood. There's none. Checks the E into my thigh. After she pulls out the needle, Shun slaps the band-aid on the spot and gives it a good press. Then a kiss near my thigh. Looks up at me and gives off a handsome smile. Heart is beating strangely from that. What did you do that for? Doctor's kiss for a speedy recovery. Shun helps me dispose of the needle and syringe. She gradually opens up to me. I'm surprised you're not afraid of needles. I can't afford to be, really. I need them. Aren't they pills? They're expensive, and I can't ask my parents for help. That makes sense. Shun looks out the window. Rainy night skies blurred the bright lights of buildings and street lamps. You can hear the sounds of cars speeding over puddles and splashing water on the pavement. I need to read more about HRT, browsing how little I know, especially when I'm dating you. You don't have to. Shakes her head. I must. After watching The Appointment, a movie that's not going to leave my nightmares anytime soon, we go to sleep. Rain still splashes against the window. Thunder crackles. I feel more comfortable sleeping with Shun. That was a surprisingly intimate moment between us. The DIY HRT session, I mean. She was very cute when she was handling the syringe like an actual doctor. She continued her studies and thinks she'd do great. I don't feel like I need to worry about Shun anymore, but I still don't know enough about her. Not as much as I thought I did. I don't think we're on the same page. What does she want from me? Is she still interested in me after I rejected her like that? Or is she as confused as I am about our relationship? I can feel myself beginning to fall asleep. But then I hear Chun sobbing from the other side of the bed. Trying not to cry, but I can hear her anyway. What's wrong? Nothing. Turn to Shun and hug her from behind. I can smell her shampooed hair. Skin is soft. Thoughts gradually fade into the night. All that remains is soft breathing. Don't know why she was crying. I can only guess. Maybe she's in the same boat as me. Don't really know what we are doing. Shun didn't say anything about why she cried last night. I don't feel like I should prod her. At this point, I'm just trying to treat her as a friend, not my partner. Just to see. But she did bring up how my DIY HRT session reminded her of a place that she kept forgetting to visit. We'll have to postpone record store shopping till later, but she did assure me it's going to be an awesome museum for women like us. It's only 20 minutes away from the hotel if we take the tube. We also got ourselves some pasties near the station. Got a Cornish pasty while Shun had a curry soy protein chicken one. We're eating our pasties as we walk into an alley full of graffiti. Walls are plastered with posters advertising a march to make the government take action on climate change. Bread crumbles in my mouth and I can taste the beef and potato chunks spilling out onto my tongue. Not bad, but it's definitely filling. Shun seems to be enjoying hers. When she sees me watching her eat, she offers me a bite. I'm not sure if I want to do it, but I don't want to be any more rude to her than I've already been. Take a bite. Curry spices are carrying some heat to the fake chicken. It's warming up my body. Really like it. Walk some more. The smell of artisanal bread and baking fills the air. An overgrown train zooms overhead. A small road has given way to a cobblestone path. Under the overground train railways are some boutique shops and restaurants, while the boys detailing the lunch special menu. I can see patches of blue being covered up by the grey clouds. Shun hurries to the edge of the intersection and points to some glass windows and doors leading to a blue building. The Vagina Museum. Yay! Just what we need. I went to the Penis Museum in Iceland when my family was there, so I always wanted to check out this place. Wait, there's a penis museum? Oh my god, okay, I definitely have to check those out whenever I visit any of those places, which is probably never, because I don't have the money to fly out anywhere. The first thing we see is a vulva sculpture. A volunteer greets us and tells us that the temporary exhibit is on the ground floor, while the permanent exhibit is upstairs. To our left is a small selection of feminine books, baskets of trinkets shaped like vulvas, and t-shirts promoting sex positivity. Current temporary exhibition imagines a future where archaeologists discovered our toiletries, but they were ritual objects, parodying how archaeologists today look at dildos and think they're religious symbols. It's a cute satire, but I remember how difficult it was for me to find history about queer people, especially trans people in the past. Recently read an essay about how the hetero are always presented as the third sex by anthropologists, when many of them had similar concerns to somebody like me. I can't even read those books. Libraries are cool, but I live in a country where you need a car to go anywhere. It sucks that so many books are expensive, or in libraries far from where I live. It's gonna get worse under this new US president. Libraries that support queer people are going to be defunded. Internet Archive is under pressure, and companies are quietly removing gay pride flags from their websites. I want to talk about being trans on air, but bigots might report the stream and shut down the channel. I don't really know how young people are going to learn about queer people in the near future. Feels like we've headed towards the future the exhibit parodies, something much closer than the exhibit thinks. So much for satire. Permanent exhibition upstairs, on the other hand, is more like a proper sex education exhibit. After climbing a flight of stairs, we enter a small cubicle on the right, whose walls are lined with post-it notes describing experiences dealing with menopause. Never experienced menopause, but reading these notes makes me sad. Seems like a traumatic experience. I think this is why I kinda get how some turfs think trans women are fake, because we will never experience the pains that cis women will face. I believe there should be better medicine and research to help with that. Feels like we haven't done enough to help cis women and trans men. I think gender shouldn't describe how we suffer, but rather how we live our lives. On the left side of the floor is a mural of vulvas of all kinds. A plaque describes the purpose of the mural. Pornography and other depictions of the vulva always show the same kind of white cis woman vulva, not the diversity of vulvas out there. I've never seen so many different vulvas like this before. So interesting to compare them, and the way it's presented is tasteful in my opinion. Never got a good sex ed class. School promoted abstinence and said that gay people will burn in hell for practicing this sodomy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that sounds like most schools. I don't think there's any school in existence that does good sex ed classes. Before I started reading about HRT, never really thought about what it meant to have breasts and a vulva. There's still more to learn, I think. It's an interesting little guy there. Meanwhile, Shannon takes a photo of Manako-chan, a sculpture by a Japanese artist. Of course it's by a Japanese artist. Manako-chan looks so cute, standing up on a glass stand like if she's asking for a fight. Shannon is also looking through a folder with cards detailing different kinds of infections that the vulva can suffer from. Thought she'd be more excited about the museum, but she seems kind of unmotivated. After finishing our tour, we go back to the ground floor and I think about what souvenirs to buy and bring home. I think some vulva trinkets would be cute to have near my microphone. Itchin taking a picture to see how well she knows the vulva. She got everything right, but the volunteer tells her that it might be better to use a term like uterine tubes instead of fallopian tubes, since it's named after a man. I didn't know that. After we leave the museum and walk to the station, she makes the loudest grumble I've ever heard. It would be a funny museum like the Penis Museum. But when I took a selfie in front of a whale penis, China Museum wasn't like that. Felt like I was back in med school. I kinda hated it. She was pouting non-stop. Thought it was very funny that she's this upset. Don't even know why she feels this way. I feel like I'm finally learning that Shun is kind of an ordinary girl. For my last lunch in London, Shun thinks it'd be nice to get fancy in a vegan cafe. By checking Hungry Cow to see what's open on the weekends, she finds a vegan Ukrainian cafe in the city centre. Take the tube across some busy roads and find a pink cafe in a street alleyway. Inside the store is painted in pink and there are vegan pastries like donuts and cakes lined up. Shun's eyes brighten up and she immediately starts salivating at the food display. Menu written on the wall is interesting. Not only is there usual coffee, but also things called bumbles. Kinda want to see what that's about. I once Twitch rated some friends who told me they're actually pretty good. I should be more open-minded about things like this. I guess I'll be ordering that. After ordering our bumbles, we sit down and look at the lunch menu. We're spoiled for choices. Everything looks so good. I'm just gonna keep it simple and go for a deluxe sandwich. So many ingredients: tomato, lettuce, special sauce, avocado, spinach, cabbage, cheese, all on sourdough bread. After the bumbles we ordered arrive. It's OJ mixed with espresso. It definitely looks like a TikTok drink. Because of course it would be a TikTok drink. But okay, looks can be deceiving. I'm gonna be open-minded. Take a sip and wow, feels remarkably refreshing. Friends are right. I'll try making one when I get back home. Sandwiches we're getting are also pretty big. I love meaty submarine sandwiches and this one feels similar, even though it's entirely vegetables. There's so much to munch on and crunch feels satisfying. Like I'm eating a good burger but with a vegan sandwich. After we finish our mains, Shun is somehow ready for dessert. I'm way too full to even consider that. It's making me laugh that she's working her way through most of the menu. She's ordering tiramisu, donuts, and eclairs. And she must have an empty void in her stomach. When you're vegan, desserts are a luxury. Our last lunch together is short, sweet, and uneventful. We pass the time by talking about the music stores we're gonna check out, manga we've been reading, my streaming plans to collaborate with more people, and some other stuff. It's nice talking, and it really reminds me of how we talk online. But part of me wonders if there is something missing in our relationship. We're just kind of friends now, not like lovers. Feels like we're not as close as a relationship I know other people have. And it's okay to not have it like that. Like, every relationship is different. And it's okay to be friends in a relationship. That's all we can hope for. Just as long as you're both on the same page. Nothing wrong. Like, as I said, each relationship is different to different people. It's perfectly fine. Don't do much besides flirting and maybe sending each other risque pictures on Discord. I know some of the blame is on me, but Shun doesn't seem interested in moving our relationship forward either. Don't know how to bring it up, and I'm scared that our relationship will break down if I try to talk about it now. It took us so long to become comfortable with each other, and I don't know, I guess this is it. Been playing this minute for months. This is all we got out of it in the end. Shun is an enigma to me. Is she happy with where we are now? Does she want more or less? After I said no to sex, wish I could have read her mind. She's so different from her online personality. Guess it's true that people behave differently online and offline. I didn't expect Shun to also follow this rule. Don't know what else to do but go with the flow. Nothing much happened. We window shopped at a few record stores. I was surprised to learn that Shun was into mellow indie rock, since she often brought up video game soundtracks and nothing else, and had Chinese takeout. Packing up my belongings on the floor, I'm making sure I'm not leaving things behind. Shun is playing on a Steam Deck in bed. After we watch Annie as Men and go to bed, guess that's the end of our trip together. It was what I was looking forward to after a week of tolerating my parents' vacation plans and waiting for them to get out. No romance, no sex, just a stranger who became a friend. Okay, maybe I'm being a little too hard on Shun. It's my fault for thinking there's more to our relationship than two girls fooling around with each other on the internet. I want something more, something that could change my life in a few days. Put too much pressure on a poor girl who's trying her best. I can't pretend I'm not disappointed. Few fleeting sweet moments don't make up for how unsatisfying these 3 days have been. It's not that I regret it. I love the independence that Shun and I had in deciding our itinerary in London. Instead of going to the usual tourist attractions like Westminster Abbey, we were able to go to places like Highgate Cemetery. It was fun. I don't think my family would have seen these places. Reading queer fiction at radical bookstores was liberating for me. Though there are places like City Light, I'm always embarrassed to go there. My parents are always on the lookout. Maybe next time I'll get the courage to check it out. China Museum was unique as well. Don't think I'll be visiting such an important place for a while. It makes me want to try talking about queer sexuality on stream. I had to figure something out, but I think it's important to share that information. I agreed to come to London because Shun was there. I negotiated with my family to let me stay in the city for 3 extra days because I wanted to visit a friend. Did so much to be with her. Don't know how to word it well, but her behavior is just off-putting. She was really going for it on the first day. Second day she seemed to get that she was doing too much. The third day she didn't talk about us at all. Always about other things instead. Is that what our relationship actually is? We're just not serious about being together? What about those nights we spent in the small hours watching movies, reassuring each other about taking big steps in life, whispering to each other that our bodies are hot? And are they just words without anything to back them up? I feel stressed out. I don't know if I want this vacation to be over now, but I would definitely feel relieved once I'm out of this situation. After all I'm learning right now is from the 3-day trip is that I don't think I was ever dating Shun. That's horrifying because I wasted a lot of time and money coming here. What am I doing? I can't have Shun as my partner, then maybe I'm not cut out to be in a relationship at all. As if Shun can hear my thoughts, she lets out a heavy sigh. Turns off her deck and looks down at me in the eye. Then her eyes slowly move away from my direction. No, I feel like I fucked up somewhere. I start packing my luggage. What do you mean? Suddenly Shun slaps her face. Cheeks are red. I blink. What are you doing? Slaps her again, this time so hard that glasses fly off her face. Climb over the bed and grab her wrist before she tries to hit herself again. Stop that. Avoids my gaze, but she's obviously sobbing and hiding from me. Little blood appearing on her cheeks. What's wrong with you? I want to punish myself. Why? Because don't know if I love you. Shouldn't side now. I dream of a world where Nick and I can be ourselves. Granted, we haven't met face to face yet, but I think it'd make for a more romantic apocalypse. If I watch post-apocalyptic films, I think about how people make too big a deal about surviving the end of the world. Directors and screenwriters will often try to spice up the plots by putting in zombies, motorcycle riding cults, and so on. And for whatever reason, audiences love to eat that up. Like they've always had nightmares about it and are paradoxically wanting to live in what I think is a now generic tropey landscape. For me though, the most interesting part of these movies is when the characters realize they're alone. Finally alone. They can walk through the corridors of history, listen to streets along with their echoes without shame, express themselves without worrying about that word we call society. During my med school lectures, I dreamed myself taking Nika by the hand and leading her through the rainy streets of a desert London. See these roads broken and littered with cars, Kensington Park overgrown with weeds, Big Ben's clock tower finally by the wayside. Maybe others would think of this as eerie, but to me, this is the only way London could ever be beautiful. As a stage for just the two of us, an equal footing and with the sun as our only witness. And today is finally the day I'll make at least a small part of that dream come true. Nika and I are meeting for the first time today. Check out some graves and play with some kitties. Yes, I did bring my antihistamines. I cut a whole lot later. It'll be fun. Yeah, it sounds like both of them had expectations going into this. And guess neither of them got what they wanted. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing of getting into relationships and stuff. You go into it having expectations and certain high standards, and then when it doesn't go accordingly or to the way that they want, that's kind of where relationships end up falling apart. As soon as I got off the bus, I checked my phone to see if Nick had sent me any messages. No cell data. First the bus was late and out this. Look around for any Starbuckses or Neros whose Wi-Fi I can use, but there don't seem to be any, and I don't have the time to look harder. I was the only one who got off the bus too, so there's nobody I can ask for directions around. I run. Okay, I vaguely remember the way. I should have written it down, but that's on me for leaving everything for the last second. Hate running. Hate going outside. I'm allergic to not only cats, but the concept of motivation itself. Yet for the first time in my life, I feel like something's activated my lethargic body. Things feel like they're about to give in, but I command them to move, mustering every last calorie I have saved up. After running for what feels like forever, I saw a tall spectre in the distance, leaning against the cemetery's fence. Then, one by one, her other features become clearer. Ponytail dangling in the wind, headphones hanging from her neck. Her sweater converting her shirt the way she rubs her hands for warmth. Oh hey, finally get to put a face to our other protagonist. I can't describe how it feels to see her in the flesh, not without dissolving into a puddle of emotions. I want to jump into her arms right away, but I make sure to stop for a moment, catch my breath, and clear my throat first. Sorry, I got lost. My phone ran out of data and I didn't know where. Nika stops spacing out when she realizes it's me, and she starts tearing up. She's the one who jumps at me. I've been waiting for so long. Arms wrapped around me and with my head up against her chest like this, I can feel both our hearts as they beat erratically together. Face already flushed from all the running, but now my cheeks must be as red as an apple. Thank goodness she closed her eyes. I don't want it to see me break character. The romantic individualist in me knows I had to be the one to take the next step, so I stand on the tips of my toes and kiss on the cheek. So have I. Nika opens her eyes again and looks straight into mine. For occurrence in our Discord video calls, we step apart but continue gazing into each other's eyes. Being stared at so intensely makes me feel like I'm a high school crush. I might have a heart attack if this keeps going. Look away, half pretending to look for Highgate Cemetery's west gate. I spot a whisper into her ear. Let's make the best of it while we can. Learned about this place through this museum guide lady's channel on YouTube. Made a really interesting video about it. I turn to face Nika. I step on a puddle and can feel my boots churning the muddy ground as I walk backwards. Nika looks over the nearby graves, deep in ponderous thought. But the sign barely peeps through the grey, heavy clouds in the canopy of surrounding trees. Recommendation algorithm must be getting pretty strange. You're right. Ever since Trump was elected, I've been getting a bunch of mega UK propaganda videos on my recommendations. It's a headache, so I've been trying to purge those horrible videos by watching things like lectures on film theory. Now that I have time for it, I'm now exercising my freedom to watch whatever I want. You can even check out all those video essays people rave about on social media. When she hears this, Nika laughs. I don't know why, but I panic. But your story still comes first, of course. She looks back at me, and I force myself to smile. She blushes in response, and seeing this, a sense of relief washes over my body. I turn back around to hide the widening grin on my face and walk on ahead. As a tourist attraction, the place is as advertised. It contains the appearance of a ruined Victorian cemetery, with the addition of a few modern graves and walkable paths. I think Nika will find this place enchanting, since she's always reading old literature and poetry. Might recognize names like Christina Rossetti. I fashioned myself as a personal tour guide. I want to be able to answer any questions she might have, so I've been going through as many articles and videos about the cemetery as I could find. I also wanted to do some location scouting, maybe find a place where I could steal some kisses from each other, but my parents have been harassing me ever since I announced that I'm dropping out of med school. That's how you think us? Think of all the money we spent on you and blah blah blah. Thanks to those squabbles, I have no time to explore Highgate before now. At least I did enough research to get a handle on the place. Highgate Cemetery is one of the magnificent 7 cemeteries built during the Victorian era to accommodate new burials. At the time, cremation was considered unthinkable, so the cemeteries of churchyards were overflowing. Literally, corpses, bodies, and parts would protrude from the ground, like drinking water supplies like rivers. And the grave robbers had it good as this situation. God, that's extremely morbid. The cemetery embraced the Victorian fascination with the Gothic and the Orient, since many then were Anglicans and did not use their cross to commemorate the dead. Great motives such as the cremation urns were rapidly adopted. Family mausoleums were also grand and massive, resembling castles and monasteries to the untrained eye. As religious rules around cremation loosened and the morality rate decreased, people stopped burying their dead or visiting it. Funds dried up and some began trespassing upon the once holy grounds, vandalizing graves and even performing satanic rituals for fun. Fortunately, the cemetery was eventually purchased by a group interested in preserving its history, and that's now not only a working cemetery, but also a tourist attraction. Here it costs a fortune to be buried here these days, and that they're accused to reserve a spot. What I find fascinating about the restoration efforts behind Highgate Cemetery is how they choose to retain some of the vandalism and disrepair. Instead of cleaning everything up and putting the headstones back to their proper places, caretakers seem to think this will make the cemetery more uniquely Victorian and authentic. In this attempt to revise history, to preserve the myth of a once great kingdom, now the path to decline, who can say? And I feel like I'm learning a lot from this game. I stop in front of the building that seems to burrow itself into the side of a hill. Oh, I remember this one from the video. This is the tomb of Dr. Sir William Ottaway. It says so in the map we brought earlier. You know him? Their faces. So I'll scour my mind for any information on him, but I don't remember any historical figures who aren't cute girls. I don't think so. Nika takes out her phone to look him up. I'll scold myself for not being able to answer such a simple question. One general from the Napoleonic War, it seems. Gain my composure and put on my best tour guide smile. I know in the past you could go into the mausoleum and see who's buried there. People used to do that, like a tourism thing. I'd say that's morbid, but we aren't in a tourist attraction. Or we are in one. She looks back at the grave. Huh, what does she mean by that? Is that supposed to be a joke? Did I say something wrong? I can't tell. No, I shouldn't be overthinking things. Need to have faith in my plan. After she takes a picture of me in front of the Otway mausoleum, we walk towards the Egyptian Avenue. You told me why you wanted to visit this cemetery. Can't be just because of a YouTube video, right? I look at Nika, her eyes seemingly not alive for curiosity. She seems to be staring into space. Go through my mental notes and think about what might interest her. Ever heard the Highgate Vampire? She gently shakes her head. Take a second to collect myself and remember that I need to sound as natural as possible. Instead of studying for my exams, I started bringing about how the UK had its satanic panic before the US went wild with it. In fact, it's possible the panic might have originated in the UK. It was adopted and transformed into panic we know and love today. Well, Highgate Cemetery was one of the cemeteries built in the Victorian era. To help with overcrowded churches, long story that one, it fell into disrepair around the 60s and 70s. That's also the era of the counterculture people. Teens heard that some creepy things like a vampire roamed cemeteries, so they brought their bikes and did their own investigation. Also really interesting is that a couple of high-profile Wiccans tried to get media attention, and we already kind of read through this, so yeah, they had the showdown and whatnot. Yep, I think I did a good job of summarizing Bill Ellis's article on the subject without getting into the nitty-gritty of it. Honestly, I could go on forever about this, because it's such an interesting phenomenon that explores how we humans are affected by whims. I see. Nonchalant response swoops my confidence away. I remain silent while Nika marvels at the building on Egyptian Avenue that I've seen so many times in pictures. I feel like I overcompensated as I watch her stand between the two obelisks, hesitate to brush away the vines that block a view of the entrance, then take a step into the darkness. Guess she wasn't as impressed as I thought she would be. Like a shadow play, I could only make out her shadow in the light as she hurries to inspect the doors. I know she didn't mean anything by it, but cannot temper my irritation. Don't know if I'm right to be so sad and angry, so I put some distance between her and me. Follow her into the circle of Lebanon, shielding my eyes from the light. The mossy mausoleum arranged in a circular path don't impress me. Don't bother to read the overtly sentimental words that loved ones have cast into the walls of the entrances. But there are some are not full, and some are spacious vaults holding only one coffin. People who wrote those eulogies moved on, going to be buried with their newer spouses and children. Can't bear all these empty and hollow promises. Visiting the cemetery was a mistake. I had to pretend for the sake of our relationship. His old sexual Nika who is appraising the things of one's vaults. Looking at her again, I find myself enchanted by the way she slowly and carefully inspects the carved letters. The coolness I once had towards her begins to fade, and remember once again that I like her. Take out my phone and take a picture of her, which surprises her. I'm practicing photo composition. Confusion lingers, she knows her response. I like reading these sorts of things, like stuff that's written on those sheets of paper that come with the trays and fast food places. They're really soothing to read. Yes, there's the fact that I don't think she ever confided in her streams and conversations, so I cherish it in my memory. I don't want any new event to sully this memory, so I start walking towards the exit. Let's go. But as I reach for the exit, I feel a tug on my shirt. I've heard of this person. Turn around and see a marble pedestal with a flower in front of a vault. It belongs to Radcliffe Hall. I like I remember the name from the video, but not the specifics. Yeah, she was a lesbian author. Oh, that's right. She stares at the thing for a long time. I don't know what she's thinking about. After what seems like hours, she turns to me and asks, "Can you take a picture of me here? She's someone important to me." Yeah, I guess it is kind of awkward when they're kind of just standing there doing their inner monologues like this. Obliged with a smile. The horrors of the past are easier to tolerate than the atrocities of the present. Don't think Nika would be interested in visiting the eastern section of Highgate Cemetery, as she doesn't strike me as someone who is interested in current affairs. Instead, it is better to use the remaining precious time I have with Nika to visit the cat cafe I have reserved a few bus stops away. The bus ride is as quiet and peaceful as I imagined it would be. I close my eyes and pretend to sleep on Nika's shoulder. Place with my hand and I smile. I hope I'm playing the part of a charming girl in her eyes. All the things I have planned, I am most excited about Mighty Enchantress's felines and Kitty Cafe. I've always loved playing with cats, and Nika's Goodread profile includes a lot of Gothic romances. The story is a perfect match for both my purposes and her tastes. I'm confident that this relationship will work out. Broken heart will soon be mended. Yeah. Going into a relationship hoping to be mended is not a good mentality to have, because more often than not your heart will be broken even more. Bus arrives at the cafe without delay. It's one of the many Victorian storefronts that litter the sidewalk, but it clearly has been modernised. Glass windows that look into the cat's play area and the cafe have been installed for curious onlookers. But we should go inside. My curiosity drives me to the glass windows first. Can't see much beyond the props they put in for the cats to play with, but I can make out a few cats playing with the people inside. Then I see a black cat yawning on the shelf near the ceiling. Eyes are yellow. There's a nick in their right ear. Start patting on the glass window, creating a fold on the surface. That must be Heathcliff. Nika has to help pry me away from the window, even though I'll be meeting the cat soon. Acting way too uncharacteristically excited. But that's good, because it's cats. When the employee goes over the hygiene procedures and explains how the cafe is divided into two sections, I start to go over my plans in my head. Nika doesn't know how to play with cats, so I'm going to impress her. I've taken my antihistamine, so I won't sneeze all over the kittens. And I'll ask pointed questions about her interest and career. She'll discover that I'm a caring person who can listen to her concerns. I already do this on Discord and VR chat when she complains about problematic users on her streams or gender dysphoria issues. But it's going to be different when she sees me do it in action. But at some point you do need to start worrying about yourself and your needs, because much you want to be a people pleaser or act a certain way to please somebody, and going to great extents to do so is not exactly healthy. And I've been to many cat cafes around the world. You could call me a cat cafe connoisseur. I know what to expect, so I've been to a fake tree in the center of the room. Watch the cats scurry on the bridges between the central tree and the tree houses scattered around the room. Nika is distracted by a tabby cat, and I want to join the group of the people cuddling the kittens. This is amazing. Yeah, the plans I had made in my head are pooted into thin air. I can only follow the attendant as she leads us to our table, eyes darting left and right to find more cats sleeping so peacefully in the tree houses. I think my heart will burst from all this cuteness. After we sit down at the table by the Walpole portrait, I open my backpack and pull out the cafe's annual almanac. It has pictures of all the cats that live in the cafe, where they like to be rubbed and who they are named after. I want to consult the almanac and find out who's who, but when I hear Nika flip over the menu, come back to reality and remember that I'm supposed to be demonstrating my knowledge of the cafe. That's all named after Gothic writers and characters. Not into that stuff. I have noticed, cafe is named after Anne Radcliffe, right? Glances at me and I make sure to adjust my glasses before nodding in agreement. Hope this makes me look smart. Menu is all vegan. I didn't expect that. Cat cafes are usually set up by people who are animal rights activists, and we kind of read through this. I give her my almanac while I look over the menu and think about what to eat. Gosh, there's so much to choose from. I'm not used to having so many food choices because I'm always dragged to places that don't offer vegan food at all. Burger sounds good, but the pasta offers a vegan take on mozzarella cheese. If one of my choices, I distract myself by watching Nika look back and forth between the book and the cats. I feel privileged to witness their first experience with a cat cafe. Might become a cat person after all. Pat on the shoulder. Welcome to the club. Decided to splurge on food and drink while Nika wants to try the beef burger and a milkshake. Odd for salmon and chips with a cup of mushroom tea. Order takes about 10 minutes. There's plenty of time to play with some kitties. Join Nika to a group of cats that are licking their paws and waiting for humans to play with them. If I remember correctly, the orange tabby is Polydori. Black cat with so much fur is called Goose. And the plump orange tabby is of course Poe. I find the fishing rod toy with a feather at the end to play with them. Nika seems content to watch me. Wish she was a little closer. I wonder if she's nervous around cats. Why don't you play with the cats? I don't know how. Look around and see a tortoiseshell cat stretching on a bench near us. Their name is Lewis, named after Matthew Lewis, who wrote The Monk. You can rub Lewis's back over there. Tortoiseshell on the bench. Nika blinks and nods. She massages Lewis's back and her purple nails gleam in the light. Cat's eyes closed and narrow. Cats do that means they're relaxed. Nika smiles when she hears this. Yeah, I think I indoctrinated her into being a cat person. Hell yeah. We look at each other at the same time and we giggle. Day is going better than I expected. Have you read much of Gothic literature? Oh, is Nika starting to have a conversation with me? Wow, I can't believe it. She is so introverted I always had to start the conversation first on Discord. This is so different and exciting. I have to think about my answer. It pays to be a little honest. Let's see, I had to read Jane. That person in school hated it. And then we've already kind of read through all of that. Anyway, half the truth. The real reason is that I see too much of myself in John Rivers. The pastor dedicated to the teachings of Christ, he is too utilitarian for his own good. He doesn't see relationships as anything more than transactions. I had to find myself more invested in his actions than in Jane and Rochester's. Tragic to read how he's based on a real missionary who lost his life following his passions. I hope I don't become like him. Okay, yeah, and you already read that. That's the Nika response I expected. And yeah, already read Frankenstein. Okay, Awakener, that seems to have fostered Nika. Jackpot. But you know, I feel like I should like Gothic fiction more, and in fact, I only started thinking about books again because of Nika. She's an inspiration to me. While streaming 3 days a week, she finds the time to go through doorstoppers and poetry and talk about what she's reading on stream. Getting back on to read at least, but I want to prioritize my interests first. Non-fiction, especially politics and history. I think the historical knowledge will become more and more important in the coming years. Yeah, we already read through all this conversation. Yeah, as cool as it is, we already read through it once, so don't need to read through it again. Yeah, Nika lets out a self-deprecating laugh at my joke. Well, I want to stream some visual novels and, yeah, promotion of Abby hymns. I food arise, we go back to our table and dig in. I've had some in my pescatarian days, so I can taste how different this vegan sausage is from the real thing. But damn, it's got herbs, and the vinegar livens up the flavour of the chips. Nika, on the other hand, is spacing out as she enjoys the burger. She must be imagining a wonderful domestic life with me. Well, I may be jumping the gun on this one. Oh, you wouldn't even know the half of it. I sincerely hope she'll feel comfortable with me. I'm warming up to the idea of us spending time together. After eating, we spend the rest of our session with some cats. Teach Nika how to stroke cat's tail and pick them up. There are some precious pictures I took of her playing with them. Can't wait to upload them to my computer to look back at in the near future. Spend the remaining hours of the session playing with the cats. Wish I could spend my entire day in this cafe. Fortunately, we had to go back to the hotel. It's getting late and I could feel Nika getting a little tired. I held hands as we walked to the subway station. Cook says the train will be here in 4 minutes. Nika is blushing and I wonder if she's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. You want a kiss? Perks up and looks around to make sure no one is around. Then her eyes stop on me. Her lips on her mouth. Remember Ellie when I was still in Cologne? We became close friends in secondary school. One day on Valentine's Day, she told me she was in love with me. Didn't know that girls could date other girls back then. Everything felt magical. Spent so many beautiful nights together. Made me hers from head to toe. I was ready to stay in her arms forever. Promised each other as much. The 2019 process forced my family to move to the UK. Told me she'd be waiting for me. 2 years later, she was happily married to a man. And that must have sucked. Let go of Nika's lips as I hear the train arrive and pull it toward it. Won't make the same mistake again. So yeah, she had her own shit to deal with, which I'm not surprised. Here's Nika's silence on the train back. I tried to start a conversation with her, but not sure what topics to bring up. Felt like I was running out of ideas. Did I do something wrong? Why is she suddenly so eerily quiet now that we kissed? My plan's gone off the rails somehow. Jump into bed and she doesn't follow me. Stands by the bathroom, watching me as if I am some zoo animal. Try to avoid her gaze because it feels alarming. Gosh, wish my bed was comfy as this. You wanna watch a movie? Nika nods. Wonder if she's just burned out from all that walking. Maybe watching something together would make the atmosphere more palatable to her. Connect my laptop to the TV with a HDMI cable, and my notepad file with the movies we plan to watch together appears on the TV screen. Let's see, we finished with that, and finally gets into bed with me and we watch the movie in the dark. I think the best way to watch the movie is to mimic the way the theaters do things. I wonder if she actually hold a hand or something. But maybe I'll give it a rest for now. Nika must have had too much excitement. As the opening credits roll, Nika squints at the screen. What's the movie about again? Bigfoot. Love slow, gory horror films like the American Scream and Society, so I'm looking forward to seeing Bigfoot kill people or something. But as the movie goes on, I start to wonder if maybe this is more like a romance flick. That's an appropriate change of pace. Here's a movie about loving the monster, the other. Wonder if they're going to fuck on screen. Nope, different type of movie. But there's no romantic tension. Instead, it's a woman ranger who's clashing with different people on how to interact with Bigfoot, and they're part of a wild species that has hidden themselves from human civilization. Feels like a movie deep in the weeds of Bigfoot discourse. To me, I'm nowhere near familiar enough with to comment on. The movie isn't interested in making it accessible to a layman like me. They don't even kiss. The scene where the main character and her friend are watching a performance of a Shakespearean play. The friend is clearly bored and asks her if she understands the plot of the play. The answer: she thinks the play is for grooving, not for thinking. Guess this movie's way of being self-aware. This movie might not make sense for everyone. As long as you dive with it, you might like how different and unique this movie is. Personally, don't get it. The director believes in Bigfoot? Definitely. After turning off the TV and wishing Nika good night, I make out the outline of her back muscles through her nightshirt. It smells incredible. Getting a bit flustered, and it doesn't help that I'm remembering her nudes and how she posed for me. I don't have to check to know I'm getting wet. I try to think about the situation logically. That might be too forward at the moment. I think Nika is getting overwhelmed by her senses, so I should try to hold back. But she talked to me after the movie, so maybe that means our relationship is going back to normal. After a few seconds of careful consideration, I woke up the courage to put my right hand on her hip. I hope I didn't scare her. Remembering how I used to do it with Ellie, slide my hand down her pelvis and reach for her. Sorry, not now. Okay. Pull my hand back and turn to the other side. Messed up. Misread the room. I fucked up. Closed my eyes shut and tried to figure out how I may have screwed up another relationship with someone I love. Oof. Yeah, this is very unfortunate. Melodrama is only melodrama to those who don't share the same concerns and stakes of the characters. I've been taught to withhold our emotions, to calculate to below those who make a mountain out of a molehill. We are taught to be monsters to each other, because we are monsters. I see relationships as fragile, ephemeral, always in need of repair. We are susceptible to decline when we stop being proactive about maintaining them. We fool ourselves into thinking they are small. They are small matters until it's too late. The least I can do is make up for how I've treated Nika. Just buy her some breakfast. But I doubt she will get over the transgression I caused. We're here in St. Pancras, because Nika asked me a few weeks ago if I knew any bookstores. Like how it was in Highgate, I actually took some time to research bookstores around here. Learned that left-leaning bookstores, including queer bookstore that should intrigue Nika, have opened up around here. I've read that these so-called radical bookstores are opened up by activist entrepreneurs to navigate their politics under capitalism. So we're trained anti-capitalist beliefs for market accessibility and a public forum that allows curious people to read these books without judgment. I don't know. It also seems to vary from bookstore to bookstore. Some radical bookstores end up stocking conservative, patriarchal books. Others don't pay their volunteers so they can pay their rent. Many use their spaces as public spaces for weddings, book talks, and other party events. So I spent some time thinking about what kind of bookstores Nika would like. She always liked comfortable places with interesting books. Recently she mentioned that she found a trans-feminine literature blog, wanted to buy some books recommended by it. Plan then is to visit 2 bookstores, one that stocks queer fiction, which should appeal to Nika, and another bookstore that I want to visit again because I like their non-fiction selection there. Now I'm losing my self-confidence. I feel like anything I say might upset Nika even more. Don't know if the bookstores are going to satisfy her at all. Lost in my thoughts, and when I realised that Nika is with me, I panic. Turn around and see that she's across the street. Looks like she's too slow to cross the street before the pedestrian light turns red. Nika's looking out for me, as if I'm the one who got lost. So embarrassing. Can't come down. You know what? I'm just gonna shut up until we get to the first bookstore. We're here. Arrive at the white bookstore with a triangle as its logo. It's a few feet away from the main street, but it's also a residential area. I've heard that this bookstore was terrorized numerous times by homophobes and cops just for specializing in queer literature. All because queer people wear more bombastic outfits than I would ever wear. And the straight people you'll ever see realizing in real time that this is not an ordinary bookstore. The latter are always the people who turn around and leave as quickly as they entered. Last time I was here, I even heard the store owner saying, "Gay bookstore or just a bookstore?" to a customer. Couldn't make out every word, but I think someone was asking for directions. Nika immediately enters without giving me a heads up. I follow her in. Bookstore smells of new pages and an intermingling of perfumes. Hear voices high and low from all sides. Most of the men are wearing lipstick while the women have tattoos on their necks or arms. I feel like I should probably try to be as expressive as they are, dress so conservatively. Look for Nika. Goes from one book to another, skimming through books of all kinds. I should probably browse some books as well. Walk past Nika, deeper into the non-fiction section. Only one shelf dedicated to history, next to a poster of Stonewall. Tragic, as I would have liked to read more about queer history. I spy with my little eye a book about nursing when homosexuality was criminalized. Took it out and read the introduction. Shit. What's with the academic books spending so many words discussing basic mythology? At least the literature review section was interesting. Despite my complaints, I'm enjoying this book and learning how the medical field was ambivalent about homosexuality. This is a try to sympathize with the plight of homosexual men, but they couldn't help but see it as a disease, a deviance of some kind. I'd like to tell ourselves that we've moved on, but given that many people in the UK see trans youth as victims of indoctrination and illness, I think there's something wrong with seeing everything as an illness to be cured. I was interested in reading everything about psychiatry and anti-psychiatry. One thinker, Peter Sedgwick, claimed that the biological and mental were arbitrarily separated by doctors. Psychologists and psychiatrics, everything was a matter of deviation from the norm. It's up to society to decide how to judge it. I remember being confused and frustrated by this assertion because, well, I did study medicine for a bit, but as I read more and more of the literature on disability and neurodiversity, I became uncomfortable with my own biases. Maybe I don't have enough of a medical brain, but I see the points that Sedgwick and his heirs were making. Consider the COVID-19 pandemic. We all used to fear the virus, and now barely anyone in the UK wears a mask. People, especially disabled and immunocompromised, are still dying. But for whatever reason, we as a society have decided that there is nothing we can do about it. Back when I was locked in my dorm room, I remember listening to a podcast on the political economy of hell, where the hosts were appalled that US officials were describing the COVID death of immunocompromised people as deaths pulled from the future. Though COVID-19 is a biological reality for today, its impact has been about as ephemeral as a meme video on social media. I think it has been relegated to the same category as mental disabilities. People acknowledge that they exist but do not matter on an aggregate level because most people can tolerate their existence. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, because majority of people don't have it, so they could just pretend it doesn't exist because it doesn't concern them, because they don't have to worry about ever getting this disease type of thing. Whereas, and then those of us who do have to deal with these illnesses are then kind of left to deal with it and kind of shoved into a corner and kind of expected to deal with it on our own when we unfortunately can't. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if a condition is biological or psychological in the context of social norms. This is how seriously we treat it. There's a hierarchy of deviations based on the susceptibility of people in the ruling class. The less it matters to the rich, the more it can be tolerated as a deviation. Fun stuff. Fortunately, this monologue must come to an end. The price tag on the back scares the hell out of me, so I put it back on the bookshelf. Well, honestly, you got enough knowledge in your little noggin there to make your own book. So much for academic knowledge. What's the point of publishing these books if people can't read them? Again, like, you have a lot of knowledge up in your brain, you can very much write your own book if you want. Instead, I go for the next best thing, affordable science fiction. Now, science fiction works exploring queer utopias and so on, but what catches my eye is a big thick book entitled Dow Green. It's by Samuel Delaney. Remembering his notoriety as the Finnegas Wake of science fiction, pick it up and open the book to around the page. There are sex scenes choreographed like a dance, but to another sex scene. This time is a chaotic mess. Wonder how much of this book is sucks. The book is on discount, so I might as well get it. I see Nico in line at the checkout and decide to strike up a conversation. What books are you getting? He glances at me and then back to the cashier, who is packing the books for the customer in front of her. Read the spines and they're all romance books I've never heard about. No talk of you as someone who's interested in romance fiction. Well, I do know that about you, but I had to pretend that I don't. Nika doesn't answer right away. Instead, she waits for the cashier to check the books and crunch the price numbers on the phone. Me neither, but the covers look cute and the writing is easy to read. I guess that makes sense. To pay for her book, she waits for me outside. Hurry to pay for my Dollar Green and put it in my backpack. When I go outside, she is leaning against the glass window, looking at the grey sky. Okay, and then you do want to put the books in my book? Okay, she politely refuses. The bookstore we go to next requires a bit of walking, but it's not too bad. I always like this one because it practices what it preaches. Pacifist bookstore that stocks the most subversive tracks I've ever seen in any bookstore. We pass the bargain bins and enter the store. this time with the intoxicating smell of old books and wood. Nika takes a seat on a couch. She must be exhausted from carrying over a stack of books in a paper bag, and seems content to browse. Meanwhile, I'm looking for something radical and interesting. I've been reading Sophia Lewis's essays in magazines like Parapraxis. Her thoughts on sexuality, abortion, and other gender issues align with me so well with mine that it's scary. Reading her made me feel like I had just found my long lost sister or something. One essay in particular stands out to me. It analyzes a popular reality dating show called Love Island, and speculates that heterosexuality has been constantly reinvented by television shows. The portion of heteronormativity, there we go, finally got it out, is not a given. It has to be constantly reinforced and remade. It gives her permission to think what if we were able to claim heterosexuality for ourselves. Pseudo-feminist tendencies allow her to conclude that perhaps heterosexuality can be defined as being able to love the other, the differences. We are often told that we should look for similar traits in the other people we choose to love, but learning to love the differences, the unappealing, and savory might create a stronger bond. Instead of embracing a false form of equality and similarities, we should learn to love the monster in horror movies. Man, I can just see her analyzing letters from the big man in this light. That'd be awesome. But I'm on the lookout for her books. Fortunately, the bookstore doesn't seem to stock full surrogacy now, but does have the small pamphlet she wrote, Abolish the Family. That will do for now. Kinda funny that I started reading these books on politics and gender because I wanted to research Nika's taste. First book I ever bought was a Gothic Marxist take on horror movies. It opened my eyes to how they were interesting political readings of movies outside of boring breadsheet essays. So many interesting books. If schools never assigned me books and just sent me straight to the bookstore instead, it would be the biggest bookworm that ever existed. I grabbed another book and I remember Lewis's recommending and go to Nika's side. She seems curious about what I picked up. I think I'm picking up Abolishing the Family by Sophie Lewis and maybe Family that by Emmy O'Brien. But yeah, we're through all of that. Constant grooming at my finds. Right? Like this book I saw before and yada yada. Started reading Abolish the Family, conscious that Nika is still looking at me. Wonder what she is thinking about. I don't think I've ever revealed to her that I'm someone who reads a lot of non-fiction, so that must be pretty interesting to her. I realized until now how my actions might differ from how she expects me to behave from our online interactions. Maybe I'm just trying too hard to be someone I'm not. Should be more like who I really am. Yeah, I could seem more like someone she can talk to and not some perfect Renaissance woman. It's a scary thought for me, though. What if she finds something unappealing about me? I've seen her break character, so why should I? I think she is interested in my quirks. She's been paying close attention to the way I read books and think about the subject matter, so I guess I have to strike a balance? I have no idea, but it's worth a try. Just hope I don't creep her out. If I had a penny for every time it rained in London while I was outside, I'd be rich enough to buy all the DLC for that train simulator game. God, don't remind me of that. After a quick dinner at a fake but good Japanese fast food restaurant in Paddington, we hurry back to the hotel. Our bags are full of books, so we spend some time getting them out for our luggage. And microphone decided that was a great time to fall over, nearly. Okay, there we go. Nika doesn't seem to want to talk, and I put too many of my health points into socializing. Decided on my Steam Deck, best replacement for my PlayStation Vita. Recently brought early access to this racing series that has come back from the dead. Like most racing games where you win laps, you are in these short races where we're just getting ahead isn't enough. Addicted to this progression loop. Be enough rivals to unlock more rivals who are hiding upgrades that will make your car better. This is the kind of dopamine I need after months of boring med-school study. When I didn't have to go back to school anymore. I hear Nika rifling through her suitcase. She pulls out a box of alcohol pads and syringes from underneath packages of clothes. What you doing? Okay, yeah, and then it takes me a second to realize that was an order. Putting my deck on the desk, I grab a purse from the chair and find what she's looking for. Ziploc bag of aspirin and extra, that stuff. My curiosity is answered immediately. She is doing DIY HRT. I hand her the bag, I look at the vial of estradiol and see that it's manufactured by a pharmaceutical company or in a home lab. I don't know how she managed to do that. I don't know much about this stuff. Nika takes me in inches off the bed it looks like she's going to do this in the bathroom. I suddenly feel left out. And she asked to help. Glad Nika didn't reject me, scared that she might. Remember my days listening to my teachers cram my head with the correct procedure. Wash your hands, remove the cap from the syringe, draw into the correct dosage, 0.15 mils. And I'm leaving med school, I guess those lessons in hygiene will never leave me, huh? Yeah, they definitely never do. Not that I've been to med school, but I did do work experience in a hospital once as a cleaner. Nothing alike, but anyway. Nika swabs her left thigh and watches I insert the needle into the vial and squeeze the air into the bottle. You know your stuff. Yep. I flip the syringe and vial upside down, squinting to see the tip of the needle is at the estradiol. I pull the syringe to get more fluid so I can correct it later. Tap the syringe for air bubbles and push the excess fluid back into the vial. Place the needle with a smaller one and check Nika's thigh. The skin looks so smooth that the light reflects off it. I swallow. Don't usually think too much about the patients I work with, but this is Nika. Can't really pretend I'm calm right now. Look your legs. It'll be over in no time. Nika smiles with a blush on her cheeks, but I think I only said that to reassure myself that I could do this. I insert the needle into her thigh muscle. She lets out a small cry of pain. Pull the needle back a little. No blood, that's good. Finally push out the estradiol into the syringe into her body. Once that's done, I put a bandage on the ejection site and compress it with my thumb. Suddenly I have an idea. Find a spot on her thigh and give it a kiss. Nika is startled. Her body jerks up a little. Face a little red now. She's so cute. Why? What did you do that for? Doctor's kiss for a speedy recovery. Tell Nika to stay in bed while I dispose of the needles. She doesn't listen to me, but at least she doesn't move too much to help me pack her things. I read about DIY HRT, so this was an interesting experience. Wonder how many trans people had to figure out how to inject themselves with hormones. I still remember my childhood being plagued by needles when I had to get vaccinated to meet British health requirements. My family wanted to move to the UK. Needles still weird me out a bit. And yeah, the conversation about the needles. Realized that I know very little about Nika. Even though I scoured her social media for information and even listened to her talk about gender dysphoria, don't know how trans people like her figure things out. I don't think I'll ever be able to figure that out just by reading the traces she's left online. Or to be more precise, I only know her interests and dislikes, but not her true self. Yeah, I need to meet more about HRT. Vigorously shake my head. I must. We go to sleep, we watch The Appointment. Fantastic movie that will haunt me forever. The relationship seems to have returned to normal, and I'm less worried about that Nika is planning on leaving me. Thundering rain is kind of annoying though. Wish it would stop so I could sleep better. Nico turns off the light and I try to close my eyes and think of something, but instead, all I can think about is Ellie and what I've done wrong. Did I really know who she was? Did I fuck up or did she deceive me? The plan was for her to come to London this time of year, but she didn't message me after I left Hong Kong. Was she already bored with me and that's why she married a guy? Or maybe something unfortunate happened and her parents probably pressured her into marrying, you know? No, she had to be forced to marry a guy. Her true normativity is the culprit. And that must be what happened. Parents told her she had to marry someone. I don't care if those Facebook posts she wrote about how much she loves her hubby are real. Must be fake. Don't think she lied to me. She never lied to me. What's wrong? I realized I've been crying so loudly that Nika couldn't sleep, so I wipe away my tears. Nothing. No way for trying to make Nika a replacement for Ellie. Love Nika too, believe it or not, but the amount of pain Ellie caused me can't disappear overnight. That hole in my heart. I thought Nika could fill it, but don't think that anymore. May never heal. Yeah, love like that never does heal, does it? When I was showering this morning, my mind wandering to the DUI HRT session, and I suddenly found myself thinking about reproductive health. I had a flash of inspiration, and visited the Vagina Museum, even though I wanted to for so many years. This was the perfect opportunity. Dragged Nico all the way here, telling her about this interesting museum I paid for a breakfast since it's really my self-interest that's driving this detour. We got ourselves pastries from the local pastry shop. Graffiti walls surround us and I can smell someone baking some good bread. Soy protein chicken curry pastry isn't bad. I would have liked it to be spicier. So much of the food here is bland to me. And I like the flavor profile. Nika seems interested in it, so I let her take a bite. An overground train passes overhead as I try to find the museum. A few restaurants and shops under the rail are beginning to open. Glance at some of the signs and am horrified by the high prices they charge for their customers. At the end of the intersection, I find a blue building full of glass windows and doors. Point out the Vagina Museum to Nika. I went to the Penis Museum in Iceland when my family was there, so I always wanted to check this place out. The museum was awesome. It stored penises of all kinds. Apparently the owner of the museum was storing penises in jars until his spouse and his university begged him to remove them from the premises. I don't really feel like they'd get away with storing vulvas here, but I'm hoping this place will have some shenanigans in store all the same. Well, but unfortunately that's not the case. When we open the doors, the Vagina Museum welcomes us with a sculpture of a vulva. Someone at the desk explains that the ground floor is for temporary exhibits, while the upper floor houses their permanent collection. There are feminist books I've seen in other bookstores, vulva-shaped souvenirs, and sex positive clothing. Well, this is kind of different from the Penis Museum. Remember the Vagina Museum had made some headlines since it was a provocative subject matter. It was a pop-up museum for a comedy fundraiser, and people really liked it. Even the Hamedan Council supported the initiative, but landlords do what they love to do. They extend leases to things that people actually like. She had to find different premises and ended up moving to Bethnal Green. You go into the temporary exhibits and it's a satire of how archaeology works. They found our crap and think we're praying to our tampons for good luck. No sexual discussion allowed, it's all nebulous symbols of long-gone culture. Satire is deeply effective, and I'm beginning to realize that this is less a funny museum and more an actual educational museum with feminist and sex ed goals. Guess worse upstairs, there's a booth all about menopause and aerial vulvas. Now the panels are funny, they describe real experiences that women like me face. There's even an honest discussion about how menstruation works. I feel like I'm back in school. As I walk aimlessly around the floor, shocked I'm learning something about how underwear can be stained by menstruation. I find a funny sculpture by, however the fuck you pronounce that, Menko-chan. Vaguely remembered her as a Japanese artist who created cute sculptures of the vulva to spark a deeper discussion about women's reproductive health and organs. Woman's art was considered too provocative, so she was always censored by the Japanese state. As is most cases in the Asia area, definitely. Too bad the artist said some weird shit about Black Lives Matter. Oh god. She brought up how Asians were discriminated too, and she also said some offensive crap about trans people too. What is it with these people and going down that route? Why can't they be good people for once? Something in the irony of being exhibited in a trans-inclusive museum like this. Nika seems to enjoy the museum more than I do. She's impressed by the vulva mural on the wall. Now there are different kinds of vulvas out there, but only if you ever get into the public's imagination. I sigh and just flip through some cards on the wall that describe bacterial and viral infection that can affect a vulva. Guess it's better to know about these than not. After the museum tour, Nika checks out the souvenir shop while I decide to take a quiz on female reproductive organs. It would be embarrassing if I didn't know my stuff. Get everything right, but I learned from the volunteer that the fallopian tubes are named after a man, so they prefer saying uterine tubes. Why did men get to put their names on parts of our bodies? Don't they have enough power over us already? We leave the museum, Nika beaming and me deeply unsatisfied. Learn too much from this museum. I go outside or play a video game. It's to have fun and not to learn anything important. She was too educational and effective as whatever that word is. Discovered how much men refuse to understand women's reproductive health and how important it is to discuss uncomfortable issues of sexuality. Many people are understandably sex averse. And if you don't want to, you still need to learn something about menstruation. Otherwise, population experiences that. Go read Scarletinen, at least. There are some good queer-friendly guys who introduce their sexuality to people of all ages. Gosh, I just get so irritated that men don't want to know anything about women's health, so they're more than happy to take away their rights. Beauty has rekindled my frustration with the patriarchy. Mine too. It's, unfortunately the truth that certain people want to take away women's health rights and stuff because though most of them don't even know what they're fucking talking about, I've never had to experience really anything or any health problems that us women have had to face. Because trust me, if men had to face half of the shit that we had to, man, this place would fucking burn. Yeah, I already read through all that. Nika giggles. I don't know what's so funny. Don't want to think about serious things, okay? As I do, I can't stop thinking about them. Yeah, I've noticed. When we get to the station, my stomach starts to growl. I think I've run out of juice. Soon my mind will go and I won't be able to make any sense. Before the inevitable happens, I tell Nika that I want to check Hungry Cow, vegan app for finding vegan restaurants to see if there's anything good to eat right now. Turns out there's a vegan Ukrainian cafe downtown. Donuts. I think it would be an interesting experience for Nika as well. It would be her last lunch since she's leaving tomorrow. Wanted to leave London with a good first impression of vegan food, since she hasn't really eaten anything like that besides the cat cafe. Let's go there. Train ride takes only a few minutes. We get out of the station, we see tourists wandering the main street, asking for directions. Taxis are honking at the pedestrians and street musicians are playing a cover of some pop song I can't stand. Google Maps tell me we only have to walk a few minutes and it's right around the corner. Yep, I see the Pink Cafe. It's all painted in pink. Walls, the floor, and even the furniture are just in pink. Go to the counter and oh my god. Chocolate donuts, shortcakes, meringues, croissants, eclairs, strawberry tarts, honey cakes, pain or chocolate, macaron crepes, spinach waffles, salmon bagel, coffee caramel, ice maca, macadamia, dandelion cakes, marzipan tarts, pistachio tarts. You gonna list off any more? Cause I'm running out of breath. I want them all. Hey, calm down, son. You can't eat everything, and you're supposed to be calm and rational one here. Just order a few things first, and then you can think about dessert. Now, let's have all the desserts. Get them out of the way. Nika was interested in ordering bumbles, which is just orange juice and espresso. Sounds worse than it is. We also got sandwiches. They're humongous, full of veggie and tomato and goodness. Really can't go wrong with tomato sandwich. After eating the sandwich, my second stomach hungers for dessert. Curry tiramisu eclair, something that is almost impossible to find in most vegan restaurants. Nika snickers at my depravity and I get annoyed. We spend lunch talking about random stuff. It feels like our Discord conversation, only in real life. I find it kinda relaxing. But I feel unsatisfied. This equilibrium isn't what I was aiming for when I planned the itinerary. I wanted hot passion, not friendship. It wasn't like what I had with Ellie. Am I being unfair to Nika? Or she wants to take things slow, or if this relationship is really a boss. A little fling that will never go further than we have right now. Not sure how to communicate my needs to her without breaking my facade. I don't want her to realize that I'm an insecure girl who's messed up from my last relationship. I don't like who I've become. A carefree attitude towards life is just a performance. And isn't that how everyone behaves towards each other? All masquerading as someone else, imitating each other's gestures and tone to impress others. As long as no one gets hurt or accidentally takes their mask off, we'll stay on stage and everything should be fine. But I feel empty and hollow. Don't know what I want out of Nika, this relationship anymore. I feel like giving up on everything. Trying to hold everything in. When we talked about our favourite albums in the record store, I thought about getting down on my knees and crying my heart out. Train ride was worse. Thought about getting on the tracks and ending my life. Now I'm being dramatic. The Chinese takeout we got calmed down a bit. The sweet and sour chicken wasn't bad. Sugar from the bubble tea made me forget my worries. When Nika finished her dinner and started packing her bags to get ready for our plane tomorrow, I felt sick to my stomach. She's leaving. We'll break up in a few days, I can tell. Nika and I will be strangers with no connection to each other. It'll be but one of many mistakes that colour the history of our lives on this earth. I'm now distracting myself with my Steam Deck. If I don't play games right now, I might just do something stupid. But at the same time, I know I'm coming off as cold and heartless to Nika. Probably regret spending time and money to be with me because I don't do anything romantic to make her think about staying with me longer. In fact, I think anything I say will make the situation worse. I feel like crying, but I shouldn't. I think something is wrong with me. Read all the dating advice on Reddit and watch videos about how to make someone fall in love with you. You'll learn that comedy is a great way to make yourself more likable to others. So why am I fucking up? Thought I had done everything right. Thought I'd learned to correct my shortcomings after what happened between Ellie and me. Thought I was a catch for anyone looking for a relationship. Almost everything about Nika's life is public. I've watched her streams and VODs and took note of all her quirks and interests, yet there were things I don't know about her that ended up throwing a wrench into my plans. Even then, I should have still won, right? We should have had a good relationship by now. Am I just stupid? Read every guidebook I could get my hands on, and I still failed. What the hell am I doing wrong? Heavy sigh escapes from me. I lost a race again against a boss, and I'm in no mood to play games. Look at Nika, she's finishing up packing her things. She returns my gaze. I start away. You know, I feel like I fucked up somewhere. Hannah stopped putting things in her suitcase. What do you mean? Slap my face. Stings. What are you doing? Slap my face again. Glasses fly across the room. Before I slap my cheeks again, Nika climbs onto the bed and grabs my wrist. Stop that. See, when I was younger, I was sent to a psychiatrist because I used to bang my head against a wall to release stress. It was my way of dealing with how difficult school was. Everyone agreed that I needed to be transferred to another school, which is where I met Ellie. She helped me to control myself and think about more positive things in life, but without her, I started to hurting myself and distracting myself with video games and podcasts. I don't want Nika to discover this side of me, but I can't help it now. I'm just ashamed of my actions. The more she worries about me, the more I realize I screwed up and have to keep hitting myself. I can smell the blood running down my cheeks. What's wrong with you? I feel bad that Nika is wasting her time with me. She's really just a bystander worried about a stranger like me getting hurt. Why does she even care about me? She should just leave me alone. I want to punish myself. I'm just a hopeless romantic who doesn't know how to love anyone. Now everything is a mess. I give up. Why? Because I don't know if I love you. Third side, okay. Okay, let's see where this is going. Hotel room. Nika pushes Shun into the bed and is now on top of her. Camera dollies forward, not in a hurry to see what is going on. More important for the actors to carry out their performance. You say you don't know if you love me. What do you mean by that? It's hard to explain, but I don't know how to describe it. I like you, but you're not making sense. No, I get the feeling I'm doing something wrong. Just don't know what though. We can try talking about it if you want. Did I do something wrong? No, you haven't. It's my fault. I invited you here. Well, the screen stops moving. I also don't know if I love you. I feel like this was a huge mistake. Just needed someone to vent to, but I saw you as someone who could love me for who I am. We didn't know what we were getting into. Sorry for hurting you. No, it's I don't think I'm ready to love someone if I can't figure out what I want. Just acted like I was in a relationship. It made me so happy. I forgot that I was supposed to take care of you. That's not what I mean. I never thought of you as a person. Of course, you don't love me. I only thought about myself. I don't know if I love you too. The screen cuts to a close-up of Nika sobbing. That's what scares me. I believed I loved you. Dragged a random person from my fan base into my life. Started treating you like you were going to rescue me from my family. Or because I thought you were talking about my feelings on stream and on Discord was enough. Didn't deserve this. I'm so sorry. Got to Shun, whose face is frozen in fear, not knowing what to say now. On screen follows Nika getting off the bed and searching for tissues on the desk before crying her heart out. She looks out the window, the blank night sky of London. Don't deserve someone like me. Just a mess. Don't know how to talk to people in real life. Screen focuses on Shun, still on the bed. She extends her hand to Nika, but suddenly retracts it. I want to continue talking to you. You don't have to. We can just mend things, and I had to pack up my bags and get ready for the plane trip tomorrow. I guess this is the end of our relationship. Nika stands up to go to the restroom. The screen doesn't follow her. Instead it fixates on Shun, blood on her cheeks dried. You can hear the faucet being twisted to let the water come out. Nika is brushing her teeth and gargling. Shun falls into contemplation. Suddenly gets up, grabs the laptop that's still plugged into the TV and starts typing on Discord loudly. Text reads, "Need to tell you something on the computer." Nika is typing on Discord. She must have had her phone with her in the restroom. "What is it?" She reads her reply. "One last London thing I want to show you before you leave. You need to go on your laptop." Both Nika and Shun have logged into a private instance of a VR chat world. It resembles the main streets of London covered in fog. There's no one on the roads, only parked cars and broken street lamps. Nika appears in a VTuber persona, while Shun appears as a harpy. "Looks like you spent your time redesigning your avatar. Looks good." "Thanks." Both girls are typing in the same hotel room, backs turned away from each other. "I think I can express myself better here. No real-world noise." "I kinda get it. It's stupid, but typing makes it easier for me to say things that are difficult for me. I don't have to think about body gestures and facial expressions." "Yeah, I feel the same. I used to have a girlfriend in Hong Kong. Her name was Ellie. She got married to a guy." Shun's character walks into the fog and Nika's character follows her. "I'm sorry. I guess I want another Ellie in my life." Nika looks up from her laptop and glances at Shun. Shun is still typing, knowing that she is being watched. "I want to resume what I have lost. She was so important to me. It pains me to hear that. Why are you telling me this? I'm stupid, I guess." Characters are still walking in the virtual London. The further they go, the more the buildings crumble. More moss covers the concrete. Asphalt road is cracking up, letting wildflowers bloom between the cracks. "When you were French kissing me, were you thinking of her?" "I guess I'm always thinking about her." "What am I to you?" "A streamer I really like." Nika's character stops at the entrance of an abandoned industrial park. Warehouses are falling apart. Trees and mushrooms have taken over the area. Shun realizes Nika has stopped and her character meets up with Nika again. "Not much longer, just follow me." Nika lets out a huge sigh. One warehouse has a blue door, the underside of which reveals a glowing purple light. Plastic chairs and tables are strewn over the road. A sign reads Eden's Junkyard. Based on a real London place I haven't visited yet, so this is going to be my first time checking it out. Shun's character opens the door. All kinds of neon light splashes onto their laptop screens. There are neon signs everywhere. words in different fonts, symbols in the shape of hats or hearts, or any other object you can think of, each expressing a different mood or feeling, not cohering into a common theme. Nika's character starts wandering around the area, forgetting that Shun's character is still near the entrance to the warehouse. Don't really know much about this place except the real life person who used to design these signs for movies and passed away from cancer. I see, it's really beautiful. Nika's characters move from one spot to another, so much to look at. You can't figure out what to examine. Each artifact has so much care and love put into it. Imagine just working on this world by yourself, making sure the details are correct. Wish I knew how to do something like this. Why did you want me to visit this place? I don't want to end your trip on a low point, I guess. I felt like so little went right. I checked your old social media posts and stream VODs to make sure I'd pick places you'd like. I just remembered this place and decided to at least... Wait, back up. You went data mining just to try and make me happy? Huh? Okay, I like to talk about my life on streams and in our private chats, but I wanted to know the real you. Didn't want you to be my ideal partner, I guess. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I don't understand. You crossed the line. It's just too much. I'm not following this conversation. What I'm trying to say is... never mind. Yeah, Nika does have a point, because... yeah, kind of obsessing over somebody and trying to be the perfect person, and... yeah, stalking them like that is kinda creepy and a little bit fucked up. Right to be angry at me, even though I don't know what I did wrong, just for dating websites and what they told me. Just to confirm you researched me, went back through my old recordings to try and get on my good side. I think that's what I did. You know that stalker behavior, right? It is? I thought everything you said is public. Guess, but I didn't expect someone to record everything I said publicly, like a stalker. I thought it was normal to know everything about my girlfriend, even stuff you didn't mention publicly. You're just so open about your life on streams that I didn't know what was not okay. God, I guess I should make it clearer. I think your behavior is off-putting. Maybe I need to fix my act too. I really don't know how this happened. Sorry, I thought this would be just like dating Ellie. That's why I tried that thing on our first night together. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I assume this is why you decided to French kiss me on our first date too? Huh? With the tongue before we got onto the train? I really wasn't expecting that either, you know. What? But I didn't. Oh no. I think I'm getting the picture. I think I fucked this up in the worst way possible. I'm so sorry. Where in the world did you even get your dating advice? Reddit? A bit of that, but I mostly got it from books and websites on how to win women. Told me that women needed to be impressed with your knowledge, your humor. Excuse me? Reading what? Those dating books written by people who say they've dated a lot of women. Just follow the rules and you'll get the woman of your dreams. Yeah, those are not the best people to be following advice from, because most of them, if not all of them, are bullshitting. No, those are deeply misogynistic books, right? Wait, what? Oh my god, can't believe it. Those books treat women like garbage. Like they're STEAM achievements or something. Why are you even reading them? I didn't know. They're the only things I could find on the subject. gave me the confidence to ask you out. That's why we're here. They tell you to look up every detail about my life and figure out the perfect date scenario to fuck me? I guess. You can start laughing aloud from a laptop screen. I can't believe this is the person I had a crush on for months. She thinks about winning a girl's heart by doing pickup artist stuff. Doesn't even know she's doing it. So embarrassing. Sorry, what's a pickup artist? Worst part is that I'm angry and scared of you. Dox me at any time, you monster. I didn't know I could do that. That's why I can't take you seriously at all. You're so stupid. Kind of funny that, after all this, just on VR chat, it's been months since we logged on and checked out new spaces together, you know. I think there's a part of you that is unwillingly manipulative, but still a you that's genuine. That's why it hurts. Awful person, but I was also fooled by you because I didn't know you as a person. Remember when I told you that I had to attend my cousin's wedding in Manhattan? You know that I had to toast to this arranged marriage, even though it's clearly going to be an unhappy one. And I thought I was going to be better than that. I'm someone I loved from the internet. Going to be romantic and so much better than all the het marriages I'd seen that were doomed to fail. Here I was, no better than my cousin and my parents. Thought I had the best relationship. Just had to kiss and move on. No, didn't prepare myself for the relationship, so I let you do whatever you wanted to me. Kissed me like I was your ex. Tried to touch me and it freaked me out. I didn't know what to think. Was I in trouble, or is this the one giant misunderstanding? Turns out it was both. My parents knew what happened and they'd find it hilarious. I would laugh too. It was a really stupid trip. When a girlfriend who knew what I was going through, I could vent to her and she could pat me on the back, pat me on the head and tell me it's all okay. I thought you were her. That's why I came to London, to find her. But she never existed. Instead, I got a girl who's more insecure and aimless than I am. There's a super ordinary girl who doesn't know what to do with her life. Don't know who she was. She scared me so badly I couldn't sleep. After that, she just mellowed out. When she showed her true self to me, I learned to see who she was. A vulnerable person who wanted attention from me. A YouTuber coming to London. She just liked my content and thought it'd be fun to hang out. No, I always wanted to. Doesn't know how to distinguish friendship, love, and just being a fan. I have to put it bluntly, this poor girl doesn't have a life. She doesn't know how to talk to people after a messy relationship. That's why she feels the need to manipulate them into loving them, without realizing what she did. There's no way that she could keep up her disguise in real life, but she kept doing it. I hate her for that. I hate her for making me come here and humiliating me. I hate her for everything. It's terrible. My heart is broken. I want to go to sleep, but I can't. She's in front of me, asking for attention, and her ex-girlfriend. Definitely in the wrong, but I also thought you were going to rescue me from my boring and dreadful life. I'm also as stupid as you. Do you remember Anne Radcliffe? Just remember, since you did so much homework on me. On the supernatural and poetry, this essay written like a conversation between two people. Talk about what they think evokes the sublime. Horror and terror are two different things. Horror is what shocks people and stops them from thinking, like a jump scare. Terror is all about the obscure, takes over and darker emotions rise. I can imagine such incredible things because of it. I think he went from terror to horror when we came out to London. But now all that's done, you were just a comedy. I didn't know about any of that. Well, that proves my point. Did your research and you still don't know me. That's why it's funny. Kinda cute that you suck so bad at this. Are you done lecturing me? Huh? I didn't know what to do with this information. I wanted to make you happy, so I thought so much of how to achieve that. Telling me about your crappy family and this and that. Don't bring my family into it. I have to. I want to take care of you. Thought about all your needs. It's difficult to eat food with someone who isn't vegan all their life, okay? They're struggling. Okay, I'm sorry. I have no idea how much effort I put into this. You said stuff like how you wanted a second home, so I tried my best. Oh. When we started sexting each other one day, I wasn't sure how I should talk to you. I was just too excited and let you lead on. Didn't know you had no idea what our relationship was. I was so confused. Yeah. I wasted so much time drafting all these plans just to please you. You don't even like it. I don't actually have any plans after quitting med school because I didn't know what else to do. Why did I spend so much time doing this? I don't know. That's why I'm still talking to you. Can't forgive you, but the real you and I are just as stupid as each other. Learning about the real you for the first time. How silly and immature you are. Just like me. You're stupid and immature like me. That's what I said. Realize you have to break character sometimes in your streams in real life. Had to be. You want to get personal with someone act. Just acting. Just like you are. Is everything a facade then? Yeah, I think relationships are learning to untangle that facade. I guess we're at the first step of doing that. Did you ever love me? I don't know. I'm in pain thinking about it right now. Don't know if I feel something. That's fine. That's what I want to hear. Right now it hurts as much as when I lost Ellie. What was she like? Cheery, optimistic, sporty, good at sex. I wish I never left Hong Kong, even though it was for my own good. Why did you leave? I joined the protest because I believed China was taking over my home. These pictures of me in the marches. Family got scared. We moved here because of me. Sorry to hear that. It's not your fault. Just because I'm a refugee doesn't mean I'm a good person. I don't mean that. It's more that I never got why you moved here. You know we're supposed to be dating. Just figured you'd love academia. Stuff like that is why we never learned about each other. I vented at you every day, but I never stopped to lend an ear to your problems. Didn't take the relationship seriously at all. I didn't know you were hurting a lot because I didn't care enough to look into your situation. So, I want to know who you are. I want to know as much about you as you know about me. For insurance. I mean, since you know so much about me. Like mutually assured destruction. You dox me and I'll dox you. Hell, if things get south, I can just talk about your darkest secrets on stream, and the whole wide world know about it. It's better that way. This is not like what I've read in the books. Yeah, because those books can never prepare you for a moment like this, or prepare you for the actual reality of relationships, which relationships between each person is going to be vastly different from each other, and it require a lot of different things, whether good or bad. I know it's scary to not have a guidebook, but you need to treat me like a person. No need to find the optimal route to win me over, like a visual novel. You need to show me the real you. That's difficult, but I guess I have to try. Good, because I'm not a video game character you date. I'm real. I have feelings that you need to respect. You need to burn those dating books and listen to me carefully. Yeah, it's the really best thing you can do. Part of me still cares about you, even if I know I shouldn't. Right now, I just feel violated. So you need to tell me everything that you don't want other people to hear. Come on, give me your dirty laundry. Okay, let me think. I crapped my pants when I was 8. I was wearing my favorite underwear and I couldn't throw them away, so I kept wearing them. Everyone immediately noticed, and I cried when someone tried to steal them and throw them in the trash. That's not what I was expecting, but I'll take it. I'll have to think about it more. That guilty look on your face is kinda cute. Looking forward to whatever you come up with. Yeah, this is not exactly what relationships will be like, but yeah. Sometimes you have to be prepared for the fact that nothing is ever gonna go right in them. And sometimes it may not be your fault, it might be your partner's fault, or it could be fault of outside forces, or sometimes you have to face the fact and that maybe you were at fault as well, and that, yeah, it's a hard thing to think about, but sometimes you might not be as good as a person as you think you are, even if you had the best intentions at heart. Nika stands up and comes to hug Shun. So stupid. You know, totally going to torment you about all this. Do I forgive you? Screen fades to black. And then fades back into white. And then we're at the park. Nika and Shun had their final breakfast together in the neighborhood near King's Cross Station. As they make their way to the station, they encounter a park blooming with sakura flowers. I didn't know cherry blossoms bloomed in London. Didn't know that either. It's pretty. We'd love to see them in Japan someday. It's a fun place. We should go there sometime. The two watch the petals twirl in the breeze. Shun grabs Nika's arm and takes a selfie with her. Both smile at the picture and hold hands. It's time for me to leave. Already? Yeah. Nika lets go of Shun's hand and walks to the direction of the station with her luggage. Shun stands there confused, then starts running up to Nika and latches onto her sleeves. Don't go. If I stay here longer, we're both gonna miss our trains. We haven't learned enough about each other. I don't want your trip to end like this. Me too. Do you love me? I'll tell you what I thought when I get home. No, you know I'm insecure. I need to think about it. I'll fly over then. We can figure it out if we love each other. That sounds nice. A relationship isn't like what I think it was going to be. Not like the normal relationships I see on TV. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of those on TV are usually fake and not real, and for the most part, fictional. So, yeah, definitely don't try to base your relationship on those, because usually that's going to lead to doomed shit like this. It's our relationship. That's all that matters. Yeah, exactly what Nika said. It's your relationship, and the only people that should be concerned is you and your partner. Unless one of those partners happens to be abusive, then yeah, get help from outside sources and try to get out of it if you can safely. But yeah, again, that's another topic for another day. Sharon releases her hand and Nika suddenly turns around and hugs her. Next year, my place. I'll choose where to go. Nika kisses Sean on the cheek and lets go of her. Waves goodbye at Sean and walks off, sometimes looking behind her to see Sean still standing under the cherry blossom trees. Sean's cheeks redden. Pills start to pile up on her head. Heart is beating too much. She sits on the curb and brushes the petals off her head. Rose doesn't have access to her interior thoughts, so they can only watch her gaze into the horizon for traces of Nika. Nika is, of course, not on stage. Sean hears a huge sigh. Time for her to leave the stage and leave the actor's mask behind. She exits stage left. Well, that Uber ride from JFK was miserable. Driver yapped about how Trump was going to send crypto to the moon and how he's investing his income in Trump coin. Oh, he's like, yeah, Trump coin fell off a cliff and I don't like what he's doing to the trans. Yeah, back to the American world. Yeah, definitely know America when people start yapping on about this. Really excited about how Trump's going to be a great president that will usher in a strong economy that will finally support the future of currencies. Yeah, like they didn't learn from the last time he was president. Kept asking me if I was single. He's married, so he wasn't looking for a girlfriend, but he was just curious, and maybe I need some guidance. Ew. Told him I was a grey ace, and he went silent. Didn't know if he understood what it meant or if he was offended that I wasn't some cis woman. Car drove in silence until we hit an intersection. Glanced at me on the rear mirror and said, "Oh, my name is Steve. My pronouns are he, him. Got to mention that. You're trans, right?" God, I'm so glad the car trip was nearly over at that point. I had no idea how to react to that. Took out my luggage and forced a smile at Steve. Waved at me before I entered the apartment. Pretty tempting to give Steve a low rating, but I know that would fuck up his life. Guess he'll get away with it. No one wants to be burdened with the sin of killing someone's gig career's life. Something or other. Please greet me at the door. I like them since they know to treat me as a woman when I'm alone, or as a man when I'm with my family. Ask me how my trip went, and I give them my honest opinion. It was interesting. Take the elevator and press the button for the 12th floor. Begin to move and soft jazz starts playing. Not too jet lagged since I slept for most of the plane trip. Wasn't able to fit in as many movies as I was planning on, but I saw the TV go, ooh, I've actually watched that one. That was actually a pretty decent movie. Controversial, I know, but I think this movie might be something special. Ting goes the elevator. Iron doors slide open to a carpeted corridor of rooms. Get my luggage and walk to room 125. I open the door of the apartment, revealing a living room that appears to house the remnants of a wall between my parents. Vase of flowers have been thrown at the wall, leaving a puddle on the floor and roses all across the ground. I was crying at the dining table and my dad's watching something on Netflix. I luggage over the shards and tiptoe across the floor, making sure I don't hurt myself. I'm back. Dad's the first to say something back to me. Hey son, welcome back. How was your trip with Dave? It was fine. Went to some fun places. Went to a cemetery full of famous people, actually. Told my parents I was hanging out with Dave, my ex-best friend from high school. Actually lives in Nottingham. He was willing to play along with my cover story, so we actually met in a Starbucks for a bit before I went to see Shun. Good stuff. Retrieve my luggage safely and start to walk towards my room. but my mum's hysterical sobbing stops me from going any further. Is Mum okay? You get yourself a wife, you need to discipline her once in a while. Yeah. And when I thought they couldn't get any fucking worse. Get into my room and shut out the crying. Parents helped me pay to soundproof my room for streaming, but more than that, I just don't want to hear them fight all the time. Want to get out of this apartment. Want to live alone and get the fuck away from my parents. All familiar feelings of despair are coming back to me now. Feel like I'm being choked. Turn my PC on the table and fall down onto my bed. Parents are gonna leave tomorrow. Gonna go on one more long business trip again. I can get back to streaming. I don't have to hear my dad's digs about how he's seen better woman than my mum anymore. I have to deal with my mum coming into my room to flatter me about how I'm so pretty, just like a K-pop guy. I don't want to live in the US anymore. I finally get up from bed, it's like 3 a.m. Must have knocked off my depression. Cool. Get on my PC and open up Discord. Many notifications, but the one I care most comes from Shun. I want to visit you soon. This makes me smile. Of course, maybe during summer break. Okay, feels like my energy is returning now. Long-distance relationships are pretty painful, but I like having a goal to work towards. It'd be nice if I could live together with Shun. I plug in my microphone and headphones. I'm revving up for a just chatting stream. Not sure what I'll talk about since I just don't want to talk about my time in London. Figure something out. Start up OBS to stream and announce that I'm doing a gorilla chat stream. Countdown timer until my stream starts ticking. Fans immediately pour into the chat, welcoming me back from the UK. My eyes are hoping for Chun-Chi's name will flash by. Wonder what she's gonna say. Let's go to icon flashes instead. We didn't really need to know that, Shun. I stole your panties while you were asleep. Of course you did. I'm wearing them now. Be right back, I'll join you stream later. Oh great, you're playing into the whole creepy stalker fan now. Great. Now I'll do it, laugh. Good thing my mic's still muted. I visited London because deep down I was afraid that this relationship wasn't real. That was just something I was daydreaming about. Guess I was right. What I got was something very different. I'm kinda warming up to that. Shun won't rescue me from this hell. She has her own things she's going through, and there's parts of her that weird me out. But she's a real person, and it comforts me to know. I think she is better than whoever I was dreaming up. Yeah, as I said before, like having these kind of expectations, especially if you're going the route of, doing the con or whatever they call artists, dating advice and shit, and taking their advice and kind of expecting it to be like in the romance movies and TV shows. Yeah, it's always, fortunately when you get into a relationship you'll get a fortunate dose of reality when you find out it's definitely not like any of that, and yeah, relationships require a lot of work. Gonna have many ups but also a lot of downs, and yeah, that's usually where people kind of quit in a relationship because they're not willing to get over their ego or their pride or whatever other bad emotions and try to work through it with their partner and decide to try and move on to the next thing, and then going through the whole honeymoon phase, as they call it, with other people until it wears us out, and rinse and repeat cycle and all that horrible shit. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, imagining the real Shun wearing my underwear and touching it was creepy. It was also kinda hot. Didn't know I had it in me to find that sexy. I wonder what kinds of faces she's making right now. Saw it before, but I might like her being perverted even more. Oh god, when she comes here, I'm seriously going to pin it. I thought I was a blonde, but I guess I'm a tall after all. I am not surprised. Okay, I should get fucking horny and get ready to stream instead. People are waiting. The stream countdown hits 0 and my avatar comes to life. Open my mouth and blink to make sure the rig is working right. Yeah, so you shouldn't finally say hello in my stream chat. Clear my throat, unmute the mic, and say the first thing that comes into my head. Did you know there's a vagina museum in London? Of course that's the first thing you talk about. And that's the end. Very bittersweet, but yeah. Yeah, that brought up a lot of emotions. But yeah. Good job, Professor Lily, and all the other people who worked on this. Yeah. That's the unfortunate reality of the world and relationships, and definitely long distance relationships too. Yeah, the only 2 relationships I've ever been in have been long distance relationships, and yeah, definitely very hard to have to be in relationships like that, and yeah, it's a lot. And with how shit this world is coming to, it's really hard to, find the right people to click with, and especially with social media. Oh god, don't even get me started on that shit, because everybody has their own expectations, and because you only see the font that everybody puts on when they're posting on social media, so, they believe that whatever this person tells you they are on their social media is how they are, when, as this visual novel played out, they're just putting up a mask and pretending to be this person to make everybody else like them, but then once they get to meet these people in real life, that shit falls away very fast. Because very much like these videos, like, I can record whatever the fuck I want and then cut out what I don't like and put whatever I want, and to appease to the audience and make you believe that I'm this happy-go-lucky person when behind closed doors I'm crying myself to sleep. But yeah, that's Spring Gothic. Not very super ordinary story, but yeah, a story that I'm pretty sure many people can relate to and have gone through themselves. But yeah, I need to go cry now. Go eat a pint of ice cream or something. Make myself feel better. But yeah, that was Spring Gothic. Yeah, very much touched on the topics very well and very well written. Definitely did not expect going into this that was gonna make me feel depressed, but yeah, that's just such as life and all that shit. But if you guys want to reread this for whatever reason, or go support the dev and their team, link will be down in the description below, and yeah, just try to be a better person, I guess, and if you do make mistakes and whatnot, just try to learn from it and not be an asshole. Yeah.